Well. They cannot stop talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, it's like everywhere you turn, the media is hyping up the Dallas Cowboys. And as I keep telling us, for good reason. They are not hyping up the Dallas Cowboys to be hyping up the Dallas Cowboys. Again, I'm going to tell you what I keep telling you. They're doing this because they are looking at what the Cowboys are doing. And they are doing the type of things that get you championships if you continue along that path. And so for Dallas Cowboy fans, I mean, we're normally used to defending the Dallas Cowboys. And some of us are having a problem with all the hype of the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm going to tell you this. There is no point in resisting what's going on. You might as well embrace it. These are the new Dallas Cowboys. And so far, they're doing a whole lot of things right. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. There's no point in resisting. There is no point in resisting what the media is doing as it applies to the Dallas Cowboys. So we think we're the only ones that can talk good about the Dallas Cowboys? Let's go. Let's get it. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And yes, we are live, and if you haven't become a channel member subscriber yet, what are you waiting on? We have a lot of great content coming up on this channel this season. Now let's talk facts. Man, I have got a great show for us today. I had some things come up yesterday. I didn't get a chance to do a show. So I got the things I had from yesterday, and I'm gonna combine those with the things I have for today. And as I keep looking out in the media, as they keep talking about the Dallas Cowboys, they are so hyped about what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. The same reason we should be hyped about what the Cowboys are doing. The things the Cowboys are doing, this is how you get championships. So, this is the show. We're gonna see what they were talking about. They're saying, is this the Dallas Cowboys year? Now, I've been talking about this. I've already said I believe the Dallas Cowboys will get a championship. 2026, no later than 2027. And I think they're gonna be even more powerful next season. But do not count out this season, as the Cowboys will compete, I believe, for that Super Bowl. Then, Cam Newton was on the Downs show, the Downs to Business show. And while I think the interview overall was good, there is a section of that interview that I want us to pay attention to. And I'm not agreeing with Cam Newton on a piece of the advice he gave the Downs brothers. Then, NFL East Optimism. How optimistic are we that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the NFC East? There are others who are very optimistic. Then, the subject is coming up. And I told y'all about these top 100 players. Have y'all noticed? None of the Cowboys have yet to be mentioned in the top 100 players. Well, they have finally been mentioned. A player has been mentioned in the top 100 players. And you watch what I tell you. The closer they get to the top 10, you're going to see Dallas Cowboys start popping up, and one has popped up. Then, I got two different articles. One talking about, is Dak underrated? This is Jason Garrett. And then another one is Dak Prescott overrated? Someone rated the most overrated players in the league. So we're going to look at both perspectives. Then we're going to look at the draft that the Dallas Cowboys had. And then we're going to look at the season projections somebody was talking about today. But that's the show. Man, it is all about the Dallas Cowboys. Man, let's go and let's get it. Let's get this roll call, and we're going to get started on this show today. Ronnie Dub is in the building. Ronnie Dub. What is going on, Ronnie Dub? Frank Lawrence, my man, what up? Jason Farley, what's going on? What up, you dig? 817, you dig? Old John Henry, what's going on, John Henry? Brandon Cup, good to see you. It is the football fanatic. What is going on? Good to see you. Poopy D in this thing. What up, Poopy D? Good to see you. Oh, Poopy D, you gonna be tripping when you see who is the first Dallas Cowboy player mentioned in the top 100. Boy, you gonna be tripping. Jacob Jackson, what is going on? Brandy, my love, she said, hey, my loves, what's going on? Tommy Solo, you know what? Better be careful, Brandy. I can't call you my love. Hold on a second. Can't call you my love. What's going on, though, Brandy? Nevertheless, good to see you. Lynn from the 903. Tommy Solo. Lynn from the 903. Tommy Solo, what is going on? Good to see y'all today. Big Moss Dog. Chef Pope is in the building. What's up, Chef Pope? Thomas Gold Rain Jr. What up, Thomas Gold Rain? Good to see you. Ice Cold. Coldest man on YouTube is in the building. What is going on? Everett. What up, Everett? Poopy D, I'm sorry, man. I'm late, bro. I had some things going on yesterday, but I'm back in here, man. Timothy Johnson, what up? Demetrius Noel, what is up? Good to see you. Kippy! My man Kippy, what is going on? Kippy said it is our year. Chris Dunaway, what is going on? What's going on? Triple D 88 MBK, what up? Good to see you. Cowboy Mike, what up? Gwen Bowden, what's up? Good to see you. Jabril Quinn, good to see you. Jawan 100, man, I want 1,000. What is going on? Yes, sir. Good to see you. Yeah, we got a lot of reasons to be hyped up. Crazy Cowboy 72, what up? Jimmy Bailey, what's going on with you? Jack Stress Scott is in the building. What is going on? Davion Wallace. Tony Neesmo. Stephen White, what up? Good to see you, Stephen White. Lonnie Cabal, what up? Bazzy 9 in this thing. What up, Bazzy 9? Good to see you. What is up? All right. Joseph Wayne Cook. Niner Gang in the building. What up? Good to see you. Gabe Robinson, what is up? All right, man, I'm about to get this. We're about to get these done. D. Kizzle is back in this building. What up, D. Kizzle? Michael Williams. 3 Chris and me, what's up? What is going on? Bobby Young, what up, Bobby Young? Keith Washington in the building. What up, Keith Washington? Good to see you. Ty Howard, what is going on, Ty Howard? Yes, sir. Larry Stroud, what up? Gregory Hicks, what up? Stephen White, somebody said, where's Stephen White been? He said, door dashing for rent. I ain't mad at you. Make that money. What's going on? Andre Johnson. What up, Andre Johnson? Timmy Terry. What up, Timmy Terry? Michael Hobbs is in the building. What's up? All right. Ursa Major, and I am him. What is going on? All right, we'll greet others as they come in. Good to see y'all today, man. Good to be back talking to Cowboys Nation. Give yourselves a hand. Best chat on YouTube. All right. So we got a great show for today. And so what we're going to be talking about is the Cowboys year. Is it the Cowboys year? And man, you know, I'm telling you, we are so used to people talking negative about the Cowboys, but there's a lot of really good talk going on about the Cowboys. And I know a lot of us, that feels kind of funny for us. So we just kind of like, we don't want it, we don't want it, we don't want it. Well, all I'm telling you is when you do things the right way, people will sing your praises. So there's no point in trying to fight it. We might as well embrace it. Might as well embrace it. They're not doing this just because we're the Dallas Cowboys. They're doing this because they're saying the Cowboys are doing a lot of things right. So this was ESPN, I believe, yesterday, and they were talking about the Cowboys year. And they were basically saying, is this the Cowboys year? Let's check it out.
Yeah! Here we go!
Meet and greet with fans last week. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott said the one thing he loves about Cowboys Nation is that it's, quote, Super Bowl or bust. And that.
What up, pop up, pop out, pop. Wait, let me say it right. What up, pop up, pop out podcast? What's going on? Good to see you. Kippy said, I really want to find Stephen A. Smith, puts his hairline back with the Super Bowl win low. Yes, sir, I see you. Well, they finna give us a recap of Stephen A. Smith the other day. And then, again, man, hey, let me tell you something. Chris Canty destroyed Stephen A. Smith. I haven't heard Chris Canty talk like that. Unfortunately, Chris Canty won't let you post videos with him in it, which I don't understand in this social media era, because it only brings more attention to you. It only helps you build up your brand. I don't understand Chris Canty, but nevertheless, he held his own against Stephen A. Smith. This was Stephen A. Smith the other day.
The only reason you play the game is because of that. Yesterday, Stephen A., a.k.a. Southern Steve, had a strong reaction to hearing Dak.
Okay, when did Stephen A. Smith start calling himself Southern Steve? Oh, okay, this is new to me. This new to me. Southern Steve? Okay, all right.
I don't appreciate Dak Prescott, compelling people in the football world to want to throw up in the month of July. I mean, really, the season hasn't even started yet, and I already want to throw. I want to vomit. You got to be kidding me. That's what I love about Cowboys Nation is Super Bowl or bust. Well, you haven't even been in a conference championship game in 30 years.
Get that man some Pepto-Bismol, guys. Kimberly.
Yeah, ice cold. I said this the other day, 65 million. This is why ice cold. ESPN, how many people did they fire overnight? They fired 8 people overnight. They are going to push ESPN towards Pat McAfee. You watch what I tell you. Poobie D made a great point. He said that Stephen A. Smith is still on the network. For how long? For how long? I will not be surprised. Stephen A. Smith, they'll make it something like it was amicable. Stephen A. Smith leaves ESPN to go into politics. Yeah, he gonna leave, all right. Yeah. This is going to be the Pat McAfee network before it's all said and done. When you pay somebody $65 million a year, wow, that is crazy. Davion Wallace goes to show you I don't watch ESPN. Never knew he was called Southern Steve. What? Nobody know he's called no Southern Steve. Oh, he live in Florida now? Well, I'm from Texas. I guess they call all of that down in Atlanta and Florida and over here in Texas the South. But I consider Texas as the South. Tommy Solo, you kidding the Tristan Thompson? Okay. Yeah, they pushing ESPN towards Pat McAfee. They're not concerned about talent anymore. And I'm not saying that Stephen A. used to be talented as in his analysis, but now He's more of the entertainment aspect. And now ESPN is going to go full entertainment. Full entertainment. They're not concerned about any kind of sports talk anymore.
Lee Martin, Louis Riddick now joining us. So, Louis.
Yeah.
I hear Stephen A. I know that this is something that Cowboys fans and the players, the rhetoric is there every single year. Yeah. But is it fair to say that it's Super Bowl or bust for the Cowboys in 2026?
Yeah, it is. Look, I don't think you have to necessarily have been knocking on the door beforehand in order for your expectations in the following year to be Super Bowl or bust, especially when you look at Dallas and you look at what they have done this offseason as far as upgrading this roster. And it is 1 through 53. It's legit now. On the defensive side of the football in particular, which everyone knew that they needed to address last year, look, Will McClay, who's in charge of personnel, went to work on this football team, and they have got nothing but baller after baller. And they started this work early on, during the season with the people that they acquired. Now, the young guys that they brought in, Caleb Downs, Malachi Lawrence, Jayshon Barham, these are all people, Rashawn Gary now as far as a veteran acquisition, these are guys who are going to play huge, pivotal roles as far as them going ahead and leveling up on that side of the football to where they are going to be able to deal with any team in the National Football League, I believe, at any time during the season. Christian Parker has to be huge. I know Kimberly Martin talks about him a lot, and I'm sure she's going to mention the fact that their new defensive coordinator has to play a huge role. But offensively, they have one of the best offensive lines in football. They have one of the best wide receiver duos in football. Dak is one of the best best quarterbacks in football. They have depth at running back. There really aren't any excuses for Dallas anymore.
So it's not just a saying anymore.
Absolutely not. Look, I personally am picking them to win the division. Okay. I think they are the favorite in the division because of the work that they've done this offseason, because of Brian Schottenheimer's influence on this football team, and the fact that I think just man for man, I think they're better than Philadelphia right now.
So here's my problem.
Yeah, I really can't argue with Louis Riddick on this. But what I am going to do is we're going to do a show on this eventually. But I think there is something really nefarious going on inside of all of this too. And I want you to pay attention to what Louis Riddick said. He said that there is no more excuses for the Cowboys. Now, pay attention. Y'all remember something that I say all the time? What do you hear me? Well, you hear me say a lot of things all the time. I got quite a few sayings. But one of the things y'all have heard me say over and over, whoever builds you can kill you. People build you up for what? So that they can tear you down. Now, I want you to see what the media is already doing to the Dallas Cowboys, and I can see it coming from a mile away. Some of them are hyping up the Cowboys because they are truly saying, yeah, they're doing some good things. But there are others. Just keep listening to how they hype up the Cowboys. So if the Cowboys fail, they are going, watch what I tell you. They are going to pile an avalanche of blame on Dak Prescott. It will be Dak Prescott. It'll be Brian Schottenheimer. They're going to pile an avalanche of blame because they're going to say it was too much talent on this team not to win. Now, let's hope we don't get to that point. Let's hope we don't get to that point. All things remain the same. Cowboys stay healthy. Cowboys execute. Cowboys should absolutely do what a lot of people are saying they're going to do. Win the division. I believe the Cowboys are winning the division. I think they're the best team in the division right now. We may not have the best coach. We do have the best quarterback. We may not have the best players, even though I think we're getting there. But when I look at the best team, I believe the Cowboys have the best overall team in the NFC East. And I will dare say, I can only think of two teams. And I keep saying this. There are only two teams that I'm even putting in a conversation that I believe the Cowboys are going to have, that they may have a hard time against. Rams, Seahawks. Other than that, The Cowboys should be no less than 5th in the division. I can't think of 4 teams. Really, I can't think of 5. I can't think of 4 or 5 teams better than the Cowboys in the division. We'll look at that as we get further in the show. But the Cowboys are better than everybody in the NFC East. And I would dare say they are probably the 3rd best team in the NFC. We'll look at that more later. But I'm listening to what they're doing. You're going to start hearing that language more and more. There are no more excuses for the Dallas Cowboys. So what does that mean? What does that mean? No more excuses. So we're going to continue to see how this plays out. But you're going to hear that language more and more and more.
Stephen A. He's so disingenuous. Because if Dak Prescott had said in front of those people, you know what our goal is? We just want to make the damn playoffs, honestly. We just hope to make it. Stephen A. would be killing him for saying that.
True.
So you know what our goal is? Had said in front of the, he's so.
Now, it's funny to me, when you think about all of the personalities, ESPN fired, isn't it crazy that they kept Kimberly? Now, I like Kimberly. Don't get me wrong. I like Kimberly. I don't really look at her as much of as an analyst, though. I'm just being real. She doesn't just, when I hear her talk, I don't hear her tear it up. I don't hear her tear it up when, she's talking about certain things. She kind of gives kind of a practical, take on a conversation. But they kept Kimberly and they got rid of Tom Pelissero? What? This is crazy work. But this is what ESPN has become.
Disingenuous. Because if Dak Prescott had said in front of those people, you know what our goal is? We just want to make the damn playoffs, honestly. We just hope to make it. Stephen A. would be killing him for saying that.
True.
So to everything that Lewis is saying, this is a team that has overhauled its entire defense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just Christian Parker. He's a huge piece of it because they went through a laborious process to even land on him. Last guy that Brian Schottenheimer and Jerry even interviewed.
Yeah, hopefully next year, Tommy Solo. Appreciate you. Appreciate the comment.
Different. And the expectations for that unit.
Now, Tommy Solo, he said, best channel on YouTube, get the Oxnard. Now, Tommy Solo. Now, you go on the Oxnard, man. Give me some exclusive, man. Give me some exclusive footage to put on the channel, man.
Is to go from one of the worst. I just need him to be decent. If you have a decent defense paired with that offense, then I think they have a legit shot to win the division, like Lewis is saying, but also to go further. I think every player says it's Super Bowl or bust for us. So I'm not going to knock Dak for saying that. However, this is a team, I just want to see you get to a title game. Mm-hmm. Because it's been so long that you've even made the playoffs, but they've put everything into the middle of the table in theory to sort of revamp the roster. And I think the expectation is that this is a team that needs to go deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, so many.
You know what? I'm not even mad at what she said. It's just dead on. A lot of what she said is dead on. Yes, Stephen A. Smith is being very disingenuous. What else is Dak Prescott supposed to say? What else is he supposed to say? And I've heard Dak Prescott say that before. But you ever heard somebody say something before, and then when you start looking at circumstances, you go, yeah, I think he meant that. This is one year I believe he meant it. If there's ever a year that I've really taken Dak Prescott serious, it's this year. Because Dak Prescott also is looking at what they've done. That's what Dak Prescott is looking at. He's looking at what they've done and what they're doing. And, she says that they need to go to the conference championship game. And you can hear it in her voice. She's not just saying they need to go to the conference championship game. Are y'all picking up on this? She wants them to go to the conference championship game. I believe there are a lot of people, because of how the Cowboys are moving, They're doing it with character. They're doing it with culture. They're doing it with the right moves. I believe there are a lot of people that are actually pulling for the Dallas Cowboys to go to the championship, the conference championship, or even the Super Bowl. There are a lot of people, I believe, they are starting to lean towards, they want to see the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl. And I've said this before. I believe this league needs the Dallas Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. They do. They need the league needs the Cowboys to get to a Super Bowl. They really do. It would just be great for the league. It would be great for the league if the Dallas Cowboys won a Super Bowl. Absolutely. I mean, if the Cowboys are good for the league when they're not winning, imagine how good they are for the league when they're winning. Man, the Cowboys are not the only one that needs this. The league needs this. The Cowboys winning a Super Bowl will push them over the top. It will push this league over the top. But I'm going to tell y'all something that's funny to me. If we think that this team that we haven't even seen on the field yet, if we think that this team should actually go to the conference championship, if we think that this team should actually go to the Super Bowl, I got news for us. If y'all think this team looks good now, wait until you see what it looks like next season. Wait until you see what it looks like next season. It's gonna, I'm telling you, this team will be a juggernaut. It will be a juggernaut in 2027. When you look at the draft from this past season, you look at the free agency, man, the Cowboys are going to tweak this thing even more. And next year, juggernaut. You think about what happened to the 1995 Cowboys. Oh, I'm sorry, the 1992 Cowboys. The 1992 Cowboys, people could tell they were getting better. And when they won that Super Bowl in 1992, a lot of people didn't expect them to get that Super Bowl in 1992. But by the time 1993 rolled around, it was too late. They became a juggernaut. They were a juggernaut. And it took a juggernaut team to bring them down. And also the firing or the let go of one Jimmy Johnson. I mean, I don't think they lose in 94. I don't think the Cowboys lose in 94 if Jimmy is still the coach. I believe the Cowboys three-peat. 92, 93, 94, and would have been doing the same thing like the Chiefs. They would have been fighting for a four-peat. Wait, I think the Chiefs were fighting for a three-peat. The Cowboys would have been fighting for a four-peat, similar to the Patriots, I believe. Had Jimmy not, that fiasco with Jimmy. But if we think they're looking good now, wait until after this season. Man, I'm telling you, I'm excited for this season. I don't think the Cowboys are done yet acquiring talent. I think they will acquire more talent up until the first game of the season when teams start letting go of players that shock everybody, contracts not getting done, people start cutting down rosters, whatever, you name it. The Cowboys will probably pick up a player or two up until the first game of the season, and depending upon where they are by the trade deadline, I think they'll do something there too. They're going for it. I think Kimberly is right to this degree. I don't think the chips are all the way in the middle of the table yet, simply because I think there's more of the hand to be played. But I believe we are getting towards pushing all the chips in the table. We're getting toward pushing all the chips in the table. So I'm here for it. We're getting there. Bazzy9 said it's the first thing she said on the network that was an actual contribution. What up, football fanatic? Queen, what up, Queen? Yeah, and again, though, I think she's pretty sincere. Yeah, I think she's pretty sincere. Poopa D said, I want to see them go more than them, G. Yeah. I think they're going to go. They should go pretty far this year. I would say so. Tommy Solo, he said, I don't like all the cowboy hype. That's just going to make everybody even want to beat us more, but we will be ready. Hey, I'm going to tell you though, we might as well embrace it. But I think the Cowboys are good to go on this. I don't think they're worried about the outside noise, and that's the good thing. I don't think they're going to be buying into their own hype. I don't think they're buying into it. I think this team is absolutely focused. I think they're focused. Quentin Scott, he said ESPN wants Dallas not only to go to the Super Bowl, they want them to win because of high views and the most watched Super Bowl ever. Quentin Scott, boy, you know what? You just said something. I forgot ESPN had the Super Bowl this year. Quentin Scott, boy. Man, I forgot about that, bro. Wouldn't it be perfect, Quentin Scott? You just said a mouthful. Quentin Scott, wouldn't it be perfect? The year that ESPN gets the Super Bowl? Wouldn't it be perfect? Especially with the relationship, we all know, with the relationship the NFL and ESPN has. It would be great for ESPN. It would be great for ESPN for the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. You're right. You're right. Demetrius Noel, I think you make another powerful point. The league cannot expand like soccer if the Cowboys isn't at the center of it. Another great point. Another great point. Yeah, man, those are some great points. Poopy D, yes, sir. Safe landing. Prayers up, wheels down. Boy, man, those are two great points. Absolutely two great points. If you want to expand, Cowboys need to win. If ESPN, with all of the stuff they're doing, they want to get this network back to some form of popularity, you need the Cowboys to win. More eyes on you if the Cowboys win. Yep. Yeah, man, those are great points. Great points. All right, let's listen to some more of ESPN talking about this.
Many times we say Super Bowl or bust. We need to define what the bust is. We know what Super Bowl is.
Oh, see, he's answering the question that I was talking about earlier, or Super Bowl or bust, or you know, what if they don't? What if they don't do what people want them to do? Because I think there'll be an avalanche of blame, depending upon how Dak Prescott plays. But it'll be an avalanche of blame on Dak and Brian Schottenheimer.
Bust, Super Bowl or bust, guess what? We have two examples last year. Baltimore and Buffalo. Both head coaches were fired. Right, so if we're going to say Super Bowl or bust for the Dallas Cowboys, how I would define bust for an NFL team, one of three people need to not be in the position that they're in the next year. The general manager. You just said it, Lou. Will McClay, everybody says is the greatest GM that no one knows the name, which is what people say about Christian Parker as the soon-to-be defensive coordinator. Those are really the two guys we got to focus on that are really good that we don't know their names as well, okay? General manager ain't losing his job.
Right.
Quarterback ain't losing his job.
Right.
Head coach
should not lose his job.
So then it's not Super Bowl or bust. We're talking about a 7-win team last year. Brian Schottenheimer Kmart, they won. You're putting them 7 wins to the Super Bowl?
Here's where I will give the context to your passionate argument already, is the fact that this is a team that you're asking Brian Schottenheimer as a first-year head coach who inherits this team, and then you're like, hey, guess what? Your best player? Yeah, I'm shipping him to Green Bay. Good luck. Who's also in your conference. Good luck with that.
I'm sorry. I never thought Michael Parsons was the best player on the Cowboys. I never thought this. If there was ever a statement that used to get me just furious, is when I would hear someone say Michael Parsons was the best player on this team. Michael Parsons has never been the best player on the Dallas Cowboys when he's on the Dallas Cowboys. The best player on the Dallas Cowboys, who has never gotten the credit for being the best player on the Dallas Cowboys, is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is the best player on the Dallas Cowboys. Bar none. Bar none. And it is crazy to me when people used to have this conversation about, yeah, you get rid of your best player. He might have been your best defensive player. He wasn't your best player. Your best player is not just ability. It's everything. It's everything they do. Michael Parsons was not the best player on this team.
And Brian's like, all right, now we got to piece this together. And then you lose a player during the season. And for Brian Schottenheimer to keep the team together, not just keep it together, but for that team to actually play better as the season went on, I think you have to give him credit for dealing with all that in the first year. So that's the context that I would add.
I think in Dak's case, when he says bust, I think for him, I think he's just saying, look, it's disappointment. It's Super Bowl or it's disappointing, not it's Super Bowl or, you know, everyone's going to be calling for people's job, because that doesn't apply here. I don't think.
Louis Riddick just made a perfect point. What does or bust mean? Disappointment. It don't mean that you blow the team up now. It don't mean you say Dak ain't good enough. Get rid of George Pickens. We got to go. We got to do more. Shotty is on the hot seat in his third season after this. No. And that's why bust needs to be clarified. It's Super Bowl or disappointment, but we keep on pushing, because that's why I said earlier, if you think this team looks good now, wait until you see what it looks like next year, because with the free agency, with the draft they had this past season, you're going to watch them tweak this roster in ways that we haven't been able to tweak it in a long time. Next year, we should be a juggernaut, or we should we'll be one of the top 5 teams, I believe. We will be one of the top 5 teams in the NFL next season. But I like how Louis Riddick clarifies bust. This guy, whoever he is, I think I seen him on the show with Chris Candy. When you start talking about it's bust if the GM's job's on the line, stop it. The Philadelphia Eagles, we've seen them season after season be in Super Bowl or bust mode. That don't mean people's heads are rolling and people are losing their job. No, that just means that the Super Bowl is the goal by the moves that you're making. And if you don't make it, it's disappointment. You go back the next year and you continue to tweak the roster, because that becomes your mantra in a sense. It's Super Bowl or disappointment. And we're not going to be disappointed, because we're going to keep adding to the personnel. So I believe Louis Riddick makes the perfect point. What is bust? Yeah, disappointment. Exactly, Louis Riddick. Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you, Kippy. You know, I've been here. I've been on this 2026 or no later than 2027 train. I've been on this. So I ain't never scared. Kippy said, bro, no need to be scared. This is what Michael Irvin talked about. Be fearless. The players feed off the fans. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've been here. I'm excited about what this team is doing. I think they got a real good shot. A real good shot. Robert Dudley. What's up, Dolores Ennis? Robert Dudley said, I was a bar guy and beer drinking in the 90s when Dallas won the Super Bowls. Does that mean I got to start drinking again? No, I don't think you got to start drinking again. I don't think you have to start drinking again. What up, Gerald Jackson? Yeah, I don't think you have to start drinking again. Michael Lee. What up, Mike Lee? He said, they said the Cowboys and the Chiefs have the 2 biggest fan bases. Yeah, you need the Cowboys to get to the Super Bowl. Now, I don't think it's going to be, when the Cowboys get back to the Super Bowl, I really don't think it's going to be the Chiefs. I think the ideal Super Bowl for me, y'all tell me what y'all think, but the ideal Super Bowl for me, it's Dak Prescott versus Josh Allen. That's my dream Super Bowl. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys versus Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. That is the ideal Super Bowl to me. And then the following year, I'd like to see Dak Prescott versus Patrick Mahomes. Because it would be great to me. Dak Prescott, if Dak Prescott could, just imagine this scenario. Dak Prescott would go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever if Dak Prescott went through the Seahawks, went through the Rams with Matthew Stafford. Let's take out the Seahawks. If Dak Prescott went through the Rams with Matthew Stafford and that team to go to the Super Bowl, to go against Josh Allen, who they want to be the face of the league, and then the Cowboys defeat the Buffalo Bills with Dak Prescott as the quarterback, and then come back the following season, go all the way back to the Super Bowl, and beat the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, I'm telling you there would be a conversation to be had. I'm telling you. There would be a serious conversation that people would have to start having about Dak Prescott. But I just want to get that first one first. Let's get that first. Let's get to the play. Let's win the division. We're going to go one game at a time. We're going to win the division. We're going to see where we're placed. And then we're going to start knocking folks out. Let's just do it one phase at a time. But I'm telling you, man, this team is on to something. It's on to something. This is why everybody's talking like this about the Cowboys. And again, if people think the Cowboys are looking good now, just wait until next season. It'll be juggernaut season next season. You watch what I tell you. It'll be juggernaut season. It absolutely will be. JCT Slice is in the building. He said, gee, yes, they're right. Finally, we and Dak are finally getting some love. Dak is so underrated. Love how he carries himself. Want him to get a Super Bowl so bad we still have 4. Yeah. Yeah, Cowboys got 5 of them rings, Sammy. We're trying to get 7 or 8, though. We need to get 2 more in Dak's time. At least 2. At least 2. Ursa, he said, I was a bona fide garden tool in college last time we won the Super Bowl. I see you, boy. I see you. Yeah, man. I wanted to be Dak I wanted to be the Buffalo Bills against the Cowboys. I think that would be the ultimate Super Bowl. Ultimate. Frank Lawrence said Dallas versus Buffalo would put all the pressure on the Bills, who have never won a Super Bowl. Also the revenge factor from getting blown out twice in the 90s. Yeah, it'd be great drama, wouldn't it? What up, Dixon? Wishful thinking they could even compete against the Rams. Oh, they're going to compete. Looks like you got a Brock Purdy. Who is that? You got somebody's jersey on there. You like you're a 49er fan. Don't worry, we beating y'all this year, too. Yeah, we beating y'all this year. Can't wait to see y'all. I'm so glad we get to see y'all in Dallas finally. Oh, man, it's going to be great. JTX made said Dallas must win week 1 and 2, which I believe they will. Not only those division games, they are conference games too. At least go 1-1, but 2-0 would be ideal. Yeah, I believe they're going 2-0. They're better than both of those teams. At least right now, they're better than both of those teams. We'll see what happens when the rubber meets the road. But I'm feeling real good about where the Cowboys are. I'm feeling real good about where this team is in the division. Anthony Brown said, until this team gets a better tackle, this team is going nowhere. We're gonna see. This is his year. Hey, Tyler Guyton, it's make or break, bro.
That would be reasonable even for Dallas. I mean, you couldn't be making wholesale changes if they don't make the Super Bowl. But I think it is not out of the realm of normal, sane, coherent football talk for Dallas to be mentioned in the conversation as far as being true Super Bowl contenders. Because objectively, looking at their roster, they're damn good.
What do I tell y'all all the time? People say that when you're talking about certain things, they say, yeah, it's opinion. What have I told y'all? We had a heated discussion about this a few weeks ago. There is a difference in subjectivity and objectivity. Subjectivity is based on your interpretation of things. Objectivity is based on the facts. And Louis Riddick said the same thing I said a couple of weeks ago. If your opinion is based on the facts, that is not a subjective opinion. That's an objective opinion. Objectivity is what you are really looking for. And the reason why, again, why are people excited about the Cowboys? For the very reason I told you last week, the week before, and what I've been telling you all the way up until today. People are not hyping up the Dallas Cowboys just because, whatever, name the reason. I don't care. Dak Prescott's the quarterback or whatever the case may be. No. They are looking at what the Cowboys are doing. They are looking at the coaching staff they brought in. Parker, B.T. Jordan, Marcus Dixon, others. They're looking at the free agency with Jalen Thompson. They're looking at the trade we got with George Pickens. They're looking at Quinnen Williams. They're looking at the draft with Caleb Downs. They're looking at Malachi Lawrence, Jayshon Barham. They're looking at the draft. They're looking at all these things, and they're saying, man, the Cowboys are a very good team. They're looking at the culture. They're looking at how Brian Schottenheimer has helped evolve this team's thinking. They're saying, based on what the Cowboys are doing, that is objectivity. Some people don't like that, but that's objectivity. And that's why Louis Riddick explained it. It's either Super Bowl or bust. What does bust mean? Disappointment. Disappointment, keep on building. That's what it means. Keep on building. Keep on building. You don't blow it up. Don't make mistakes like Jerry has made in the past. 2016, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott balls out. 2017, we don't start just saying, hey, 2016, we were the number one seed. We got a great quarterback on a cheap deal. We got Zeke on a rookie deal. Let's put more players around them. They won't make that mistake twice. They won't make it twice. You watch what I tell you. They're going to keep building on this one. They're going to keep building on this one. Super Soul Cry, he said, and don't forget, once the season starts, we have 8 weeks to bring in more talent. Exactly. Robert Dully, he said, one thing for sure, G, I don't miss the warm weather. Tony Romo and come cold weather, Romo would choke up, freeze up. He didn't perform well in cold weather. Yeah. I remember they used to talk about that. Yeah, Quinn, that's why we got to be dominant so we don't let the referees work against us. One thing you got to always make sure you do or don't put the game in the hands of a referee. Don't do it.
They're damn good in every single area, quite honestly. There's still some questions for me at corner in particular, but down the middle of this defense and on the first two levels in particular throughout, this team is legit. That offensive line stays healthy. They are legit. They will move the football. They will score points. The scheme, strategies, tactics, that's all on Schottenheimer. I think he is more than capable of handling that end of it. Look, things have to break right for this football team that if they don't, of course, Stephen A. is going to kill them for it. And even if it isn't their fault, he's going to kill them anyway. But this team's legit.
We'd also be killing them. Brian Schottenheimer said last week the goal is to get to the Super Bowl. We'd be killing Dak Prescott if he said anything other than that, Kimberly.
Sure. Like, what is the disadvantage if they don't perform well? Then what? Is it just, Cowboys disappoint and we go about our business? I think that's what Evan is saying. What's the end result there?
I think then we have to define what's disappointment. I mean, if they are if they're an 8-9 win team, that's disappointing. Then we may be looking at some things going like, wait a minute, this roster's too good for that. Then there may be some things that you may have to evaluate. I just don't see that happening unless there's some kind of like catastrophic injury and or attrition just kills them this year.
Yeah,
Dallas is going to be there in the end. If all things being equal, and they have their the majority of their roster, their top 30 players playing for the entire season, they will win the East this year.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? I know people don't like this kind of optimism, but I don't think what he just said is optimism. I think it's objectivity again. Louis Riddick is saying the same thing that I've been alluding to and been saying. We got to get it on the field. But once we get it on the field, when you look at what we have, something has absolutely got to be screwed up in order for it not to work. The Cowboys have a really good roster. Offensively and defensively, they have a very good roster. I mean, it would have to be something cataclysmic to happen for this team to fail. You had the third best offense last year, and it still had room for improvement. How do you at least still not be top 5 unless there's something with attrition? You got a better coordinator. You got a better defensive staff. You got better players on defense. You got healthy players. And you were able to go 7-9-1 last season. Unless there is something with attrition. Unless there is something with attrition. There is no way this team isn't there in the end. There's just no way. There's no way this team isn't here in the end. Double-digit wins. There is no way. There is no way this team isn't here. Again, we got to see it. But Riddick is saying, even if we haven't seen it, Riddick is saying that it is so that this team that they have put together is good enough that even if you haven't seen it, you're going to see it. And that's why I've already told y'all before in the past. I'm more concerned about what they've been doing off the field because they've been doing so many of the right things off the field that when it gets on the field, we're going to see it. Bottom line, we're going to see it. We're going to see it. I'm excited about Oxnard, California, because I want to see what they look like against the Bills. All right, let's get to this next topic. Cam Newton was on the Down to Business podcast. And I'm telling you right now, I am going to be keeping a very close watch on the Down to Business podcast. Because I'll be honest with you. Cam Newton was on here today. And what I do believe that Cam Newton gave some good advice. I also don't like some of the advice that Cam Newton gave. And we're going to listen to that in a moment. Let me read a couple of more comments. Let me read a comment here from Bazzy9. He said, I don't know if I like all this hype, G. I was honestly looking forward to coming in as underdogs, turning heads and shocking the world. You Dallas Cowboys, Bazzy9, when you making moves like the Cowboys have made, you can't hide it. There's a very powerful Bible verse when Jesus talks about that you are the light of the world. He said, who builds a house on the, he says a house on the hill cannot be hidden. And who lights a candle and puts it under a bushel? When you look at what the Cowboys have done, Bazzy9, you can't hide it. You can't hide it. When you do what the Cowboys have done, expectations come with it. You can't hide it. The better the moves. Because think about this. Why is everybody penciling in the Rams to go to the Super Bowl? Why are they doing it? Simple. They went and traded and got Myles Garrett. They already got Stafford. They already got Puka. They already got Adams. They got other players, things they did in free agency. They topped it off. They got Myles Garrett, and we already know that Aaron Donald is coming out of retirement. There's a reason why they're penciling them in. They're penciling them in because the moves themselves say that they're going to be really good. You can't stop people from talking about you once you start making great moves. It used to be we couldn't stop people from talking about us because Jerry Jones was the owner. But now we got people can't stop talking about us because we're just making great moves. When you're making great moves, it's hard to come in as the underdog. So we're just going to have to embrace it. All right. So let's listen to this. They had Cam Newton on the show. And what I think for the most part, they were talking football. There's a section here that I don't like that Cam Newton starts talking about and giving these Downs brothers advice. And I'll be honest with you, I love the Downs brothers. I'm not concerned about what the other Browns brother does that's on the Colts. I'm only concerned about the Browns brother that is on the Dallas Cowboys. That's the only one I'm concerned about. And I don't want him to take Cam Newton's advice. I don't know if y'all heard this. Check this out.
It's time now to welcome in one of the most influential people in football and in the media, man. Heisman winner, national champion, one of the greatest seasons I ever grew up on. I think my brother would say the same thing. 3-time All-Pro QB, 2015 NFL MVP, man. And, you know, from the state of Georgia, so could arguably say he's the best player to ever come out of the state, man. Welcome in Cam Newton, man. Let's do it.
What's up? What's going?
Cam Newton. We didn't mention him the other day. Cam Newton could have been one of the best to ever do it. He was one of the best to ever do it for a short stint. But Cam Newton could have been one of the best to ever do it. And I mean historically. Cam Newton should have won Super Bowls. I don't know if anybody understands that Cam Newton was a freak of nature. When Cam Newton, I think it was when he got whatever was happening over there in Florida, he wound up going to Bryn College, wound up playing junior college. When Cam Newton came to Tyler, Texas, over there, my hometown or where I grew up, when Cam Newton, I believe he played Tyler Junior College, if I'm not mistaken. To see Cam Newton on a field playing against junior college players, it was like watching a grown man play against a Pee Wee League team. I don't think people realize that Cam Newton is an absolute giant. He is a giant of an individual. Cam Newton is probably one of the best athletes I've ever seen in my life. Cam Newton, man, I'm telling you, Cam Newton should have won Super Bowls. Absolutely. But Cam Newton, unfortunately, goes to Carolina, and it was all Cam Newton. Don't mean he didn't have some good players, because we're not going to denigrate the players that were around him. Cam did have some good players around him. But the problem is, Cam, though, for the most part, was a one-man show. And Cam was over there playing running back. He was playing like he was still that little league quarterback who's more physically gifted than everybody, and he was running over everybody in Carolina. And it finally culminated in, eventually, I don't care how big you are, you're going to let these other grown men, I mean, Cam Newton was bigger than linebackers. But Cam Newton, man, he ran himself in the ground. He literally ran himself in the ground. And after he had that great season, it was kind of downhill from there. Cam should have been one of the best to, and I'm talking long term, not this little short stuff. By the time he got to the Patriots, man, he was a shell of himself. How do you get beat out by Mac Jones? Come on, bro. Mac Jones? Who lets go of Cam Newton for Mac Jones? But it just goes to show you, Cam Newton didn't do what Dak Prescott has done and is doing. Dak Prescott, very talented coming out of college, could run the ball, dual threat quarterback. Nowhere close to Cam Newton. Nowhere close. But nevertheless, Dak was very good. Dak got his ankle twisted around backwards, only to become one of the best pocket passers in the game now. Dak Prescott kept working on and evolving his game. Dak's mental drive is it's just people don't understand how next level it is. Dak was more than his physical ability, his ability to run. Dak said, no, I'm here for the long haul. He kept on running and kept on working, and he's still in this league. Y'all do know Cam Newton isn't too old to be in the league. Cam Newton hasn't even retired. No team wants to touch Cam Newton. It's insane when you think about it. It's insane when you think about it. How in the world is Cam Newton still not in the league? Some say Cam Newton ain't got it up here. And I think he's very smart. When I say up here, don't take that as meaning he's not smart, because I believe Cam Newton is very smart, very intelligent. But when it comes to the playbook and getting plays down, some people were saying that Cam just didn't have it like that. Just didn't have it like that. I don't know what the case is, but it's crazy when you think about the Cam's not in this league no more. It's crazy. I'm going to let these guys talk. I'm going to look up Cam Newton's age.
What's going, man? How we thinking, man?
Yeah, we great, man.
We good,
appreciate
bro.
hopping
What you on right now? For sure.
Man, I'm working, bro, trying to stay busy. You know, you guys are nowhere near where I am now because you got a lot of football ahead of y'all. But these days, bro, you go from being a gazelle to being a lion, meaning while you have the platform of the NFL, everybody hunts you. Opportunities hunt you. You know, media and advertisement and brands hunt you. Now when you go into the real world after football, now you got to go hunt. Now you got to go use your network.
Yeah.
Now you got to go, really maximize, the platform that the NFL and, whether it was North Carolina, Alabama, or Ohio State, now you use those resources to pay real dividends for you guys, man. So
I got a question based off that. So why you big into the shows now, the podcast? You got two
yeah.
yourself. When you were in the league, it obviously wasn't as big back then, but I guess why didn't you do it as much when you were playing?
Knowing what I know now, I would have kept that doggone camera rolling. And free game.
Yeah.
If
Facts.
I'm you, Josh, if I'm you, Caleb, I would stockpile all my stuff. Meaning, invest in a shooter, invest in somebody that knows cameras and knows content. And what you would be able to do, a lot of times it may look goofy in the moment where you're recording everything, but knowing what I know now, I would have been able to showcase more that ESPN or my team didn't have access to get. You know what I'm saying? What is it like training? What is it like having a brother in the NFL? What is it like, my preparation for my first rookie season? What is it like, preparing, going from a young player to now, Josh, you the OG. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these things happen in a sense where it wasn't the cool thing to do at that moment. But now that the league has kind of been graceful to creators in the locker room, so you guys should maximize it as much as you can.
You mentioned your rookie year. What do you remember?
Now, see, this is the part right here that I didn't like what Cam Newton is talking about. Because we've been here and done this. We've had a guy on the team, as in Michael Parsons, that was, and while Michael didn't have the camera in the locker room, Michael was really into the media while he was here. He had a podcast going. And people don't want that. Man, I'm telling you, people don't want that around their team. And we're going to see more and more players doing podcasts. But nobody wants that around their team. And they don't want you discussing the team in that stuff. They don't want you doing that. So people don't want, and he's asking a question about Cam Newton. Well, people were not hardly doing that back then. What we're talking about, what they're doing now, it's a whole different animal. But people didn't want this stuff back. I mean, they didn't do this stuff back then. But today, man, people don't want this. People don't want this around their team. The Cowboys aren't concerned about Caleb Downs doing a podcast. But what they don't want is this. They don't want Caleb Downs. Think about how popular Caleb Downs already is. Caleb Downs is already garnering a lot of attention. So why would you bring more attention to this team? Why would you have cameras following you, knowing full well that if you're going to have cameras following you, people are going to be saying, oh, Caleb Downs, he isn't focused. Caleb isn't this. Caleb isn't that. Caleb is the next Michael Parsons. Caleb. No. This is bad advice. And this is one of the reasons. I'm going to read some of y'all comments. Y'all made some great comments about Cam Newton. This is one of the reasons why Cam Newton is no longer in the league. This is one of the reasons why Cam Newton is not in this league anymore still. Cam Newton. There is no reason why Cam Newton, y'all. There is no reason why Cam Newton shouldn't still be in this league. Other than himself. Other than himself. Cam Newton is one of these people. He was more physically gifted than most people. More physically gifted. And where Cam would still work on his body, Cam still works on his body today. Cam got a heck of a workout regimen. There's a difference, though, in working on your body and working on your craft. In football, you got to work on your body and your craft. And you got to make sure the way that you're working on your body works into your craft. Cam Newton, let's just say 3 years ago, Cam Newton could walk into if you lined up all the quarterbacks in the league and you had Cam Newton there and they all took their shirt off, Cam Newton would put every quarterback or almost every quarterback, man, I'm going to go out on a limb. I guarantee you Cam Newton would put every quarterback in the league to shame with his shirt off. With his shirt off. Problem is you don't play football with your shirt off. But when you put those pads on, and then when it comes to those playbooks, reading those defenses, making those adjustments, knowing where everybody is supposed to be on your team, recognizing things that you saw on film with the other team. In what universe is Mac Jones better than Cam Newton? They released Cam Newton and kept Mac Jones. What? Where? Where? That's Cam Newton for you. Cam Newton is one of these people because what he's telling them in a sense is really focus in a sense on yourself. Focus on yourself. Build your brand. Build your brand, and then because basically build your brand while you're playing at the same time. And have all of this exclusive, all this exclusive footage. And just really, man, Cam Newton is basically telling these young men to bring all this attention to yourself. Build your brand while you're playing. No, Cam Newton, this is bad advice. Don't build your brand while you're playing. Don't, and especially when you're talking about cameras, don't have cameras following you everywhere. This is what they're doing. I have no problem with it. This is very minor stuff that they're doing with this podcast. I mean, they bring guys in, they talk a little bit of football, they talk a little bit of life, but they're not really talking about like how Parsons and those guys sometimes would always be trying to give their opinions on players. Top 10 this or whatever that. Man, nobody got time for that stuff. No, man, stay focused on football. There'll be plenty of time, especially as a Dallas Cowboy. There will be plenty of time after football. As a Dallas Cowboy, you don't have to worry about no podcast, bro. If y'all do what we believe y'all are about to do, Caleb Downs don't have to do anything more than what he's doing. Keep your podcast light, keep it friendly, and focus on football. And it's crazy to me because if you think about Cam Newton was a very, and it's not that he wasn't a team player, but Cam Newton was also a very me player. You know how some people say there's not an I in team? Have you heard this before? There's no I in team, but there's a me in team. Yeah. There's an M-E in team. Yeah. There's an M-E in team. And you got to be careful about that M-E in team. And I'm telling you, man, when Cam Newton is on, Cam Newton is on. But when Cam Newton is off, man, sometimes Cam Newton is off his rocker on some of these things. And the one thing, if I could give anybody advice on the Dallas Cowboys, I would have told both of them. And not just Caleb Downs. I would have told both of them, hey, guys, what y'all are doing right now is cool. But as this season begins to start, y'all do less of this and more football. Less of this, more football. Be more focused on football. Don't worry about this stuff. You'll have plenty of time for this stuff in your off time. When the season ends, you'll have plenty of time for all of this stuff right here. But keep this stuff light, keep it fun, and keep it out of NFL business for the most part. Come on, Cam. Cam Newton is talking like a person, you can tell he's talking like a person who didn't reach the ultimate level of success in this league. That's how he's talking. Yeah, in other words, have a career after football. We get that part, Cam. But don't be telling these young men, oh, yeah, have a camera following you everywhere. Man, I'm going to tell you right now, if I was a player and you were the type of individual and you had a camera following you everywhere, I bet you I'm not hanging out with you. How much you bet? I bet you I'm not hanging around with you. I'm not hanging around you. You can forget it. I don't want no camera. If I want to hang out with you, I don't want no camera. If we're working out, I don't want no camera. This is one of the reasons why. My sons work at a gym. And a lot of these gyms are closing around the nation. And one of the things that when you listen to videos on YouTube and when you hear people on TikTok talk about why gyms are closing because they are saying that the content creators are ruining the gyms. Yeah, they're saying content creators are ruining the gyms. I went to the gym one day to talk to the manager of the gym. He also, my son's manager, he goes to church with us. And he took me on the tour of the gym. Man, let me tell you something. If you go to a gym today as a man, let me tell you something. You have to be so disciplined with your eyes. I mean, you can't even glance left or right. The women at the gym, they wear the most skimpiest clothes at the gym. And some of these women at the gym, they're filming everything they're doing. And if you even glance at them, you could be looking at like, okay, when is she going to be done with the machine? You'll be putting a video talking about creep. He was looking at me while I was working out. And you're getting a lot of men who not working out at gyms no more because they don't want to be in these videos that the women are making sometimes. And there are women who don't want to be in the videos the men are making. Men will be in there with skimpy clothes on too. Yep, men too. Be in the gym with the skimpiest of skimpy clothes. Making videos in the gym and all these different types of things. And so people don't want to be at the gyms anymore. And I am telling you, if you were my friend on a football team and you told me the camera was following you everywhere, I'm telling you, I can't hang out with you. I don't want my life on film. I'm focused on football. I'm not trying to get involved in that stuff. This is some of the worst advice, man. If anything, Cam Newton should have told them, hey, man, y'all focus on football. What y'all doing right here, this is cool. It's cool. But when the football season, take it from me. Put all of your attention into your team and into winning that championship. Be a brotherhood. Keep things private. Come on, Cam. What are you doing, bro? This is some of the worst advice you gave these young men. Let me read my super chat from my man Frank Lawrence. He said, there's no reason a Dallas Cowboy fan with 5 Super Bowl wins should be gaslighted by media into apologizing for a Super Bowl drought. Let the 12 teams with 0 sweat. Yes, sir. I feel you on that. And we're gonna get us another one. Let me read some of these comments, man. Y'all got some great comments in here. Then we're gonna I think that's pretty much what I wanted to listen to, what Cam Newton was taught. I just thought this was terrible advice to the Downs brothers. I just thought it was terrible advice. So we're not going to go all the way through. But again, to hear this man encourage them in all this social media, and I understand what he's saying, you know, get footage that ESPN can't get, because then you can get all the views, you can get the likes, you can build your brand and all of this. Man, ain't nobody trying to do that, Cam. These young men trying to win Super Bowls, especially Caleb Downs. Shoot, man, trying to win Super Bowls up in here, man. It's crazy. Just thought it was crazy when he was talking about this. Why would you tell these young men to do that? Why'd you tell these young men to do that? Okay, let me catch up on some of these comments y'all made. What's going on, Freddie Morales, El Chuco in the building? What's going on? April Showers. I'm not concerned about either Downs brother. They are grounded by their faith and are led by God and parents of faith. Cam is led too much by his ego in the world. He won't lead these two astray. I agree. I'm pretty sure their father watched this, because I know if I would have watched this and I would have been listening to Cam Newton tell my sons that, I'd have came right back and told them, don't y'all listen to Cam Newton. That's what I told them. Told them, y'all listen to Cam Newton. I told them, don't you listen to nothing that Cam Newton talking about. I like what Brandon Cup said. Brandon Cup said, I hear you on Cam's talent. He said, although I lived in Savannah, Georgia, and saw Cam on the street ask for a selfie because I had on Cowboys gear, he shunned me. He's a clown and stupid to me. Yeah, man. Some people take that stuff too far. I saw Michael Irvin the other day. I don't know if y'all seen the video. I'll show it to you if we have time. Michael Irvin was at the Fanatics show or something like that. And Michael Irvin, he played around with some of those players. I mean, some of those young men had on Philadelphia Eagles jerseys and stuff, but they still wanted Michael Irvin's autograph. He gave it to him. Demetrius said, gee, that MVP is what brought his demise to the point that he seriously believed that he could do it on his own. Yeah, he was and Cam, it's so crazy. Cam, that's the kind of, it was like, that's kind of what Cam was. But I think once he got older, he realized that, man, had he really focused on his game, Cam would probably still be playing in this league because he's a physically gifted individual. Robert Dudley said he lost that mental and pro football edge. See, that's what Dak didn't lose. And he wasn't even as talented as Cam Newton. There's not a lot of people that were as talented as Cam Newton. Gerald Jackson said Cam stopped improving on his craft. Exactly. You must put the work in. He relied too much on his God-given talent. That's why I applaud Dak Prescott. Because Dak Prescott was a running quarterback. And when you took away Dak Prescott's ankle, Dak said, well, I'm going to become a pocket passer. And now Dak Prescott is probably the best pocket passer in the game. And if he's not, he's top 3. Yeah, absolutely. What up, Bass? Yeah, Bazzy, I've heard Cam Newton. He's had some great things to say about the Cowboys. He had some bad things to say, too. But he's had some good things to say. I'll give him credit for that. But I just thought this was bad advice. I just really thought it was bad advice. Reinforced Steve, he said, say hi to my friend Dwayne Dimpleton. He's a big Cowboys fan, wears a cowboy hat. Yes, sir, Dwayne Dimpleton, what is going up? What's going on, What's going on? Bass said, yeah, I knew you'd take that angle. Respect, changed my point of view. Yeah, hey, Bass, good to see you today. Yeah, man, I was like, Cam, come on, bro. You can do better than this, man. Don't tell these young men to do this. Don't tell these young men to do this. Bass said, I thought Cam was trying to, give that nudge like an unk and help these kids out. But as I listened, I realized no glam style is why we off Michael. Yeah, he was basically trying to tell them to be Michael Parsons in a sense. Brandon, she's not a fan of Cam Newton's dress style. She said Caleb next step is being the best version of himself. She said Cam dresses like a housewife, though. Yep. Football fanatic said he looks like the Monopoly guy. Exactly. Yeah, I was a bit surprised, man. I was like, oh, come on, man. B Mix, he said, I'm taking the Downs brothers doing their podcast over Micah and doing his and his brother all over our team's blogs, talks. Doing his and his brothers all over our team's blogs talking about, you know what? Again, and I think what you're saying is, B Mix, it won't be the same as Micah Parsons. I don't think it will be. Yeah, Anthony Jefferson, yep. Jerry Richardson messed that team up. Carolina Panthers let Josh Norman go. Stupid, you right. Jerry Richardson broke up that 15-1 team. He let everyone go. Yeah. But Cam had a second chance. Man, he went to the Patriots. Got beat out by Mac Jones. That's crazy to me. Got beat out by Mac Jones. Demetrius Noel said he's not in the league because of his injuries. If there is a player that didn't deserve the MVP, it's Newton because it derailed his NFL career. Yeah, he just didn't work hard enough at his craft, man. And again, I think Gerald Jackson hit it right on the head. And this is the difference between even Dak Prescott and Tony Romo. Tony Romo was a naturally talented athlete. It wasn't that Dak wasn't naturally talented, but Dak wasn't a natural thrower of the ball, wasn't the greatest quarterback. But when you're talking about that pistol, that dual threat quarterback, now that's, Dak was an absolute beast. But Dak, what he had on Romo also was he was a better leader. But the thing about Dak Prescott, unlike Romo was so gifted also. People don't realize Romo was actually gifted. Romo didn't work hard enough at his craft either. Romo couldn't wait for the football season to be over. He run right to that golf course. He couldn't wait. Just run right to the golf course, trying to make the PGA Tour, all those things. He just couldn't wait. Not Dak Prescott. He just works and works and works and works, and it's going to pay off. Bass said Michael didn't need the podcast as a Cowboy. Even Facts G Rev said it that off the jump. I don't think he needed it. Yeah. But the thing that I didn't understand, Bass, but Okoye Media is kind of pointing out some things about Michael that I never realized. But he was saying that Michael was already starting to be some of these types of things. And I didn't realize it. I really didn't. Even in college, he was saying, Gerald Jackson said, if you're an athlete, focus on your craft. Exactly. Yeah, Cam is a cautionary tale. Because I'm telling you, Cam is he's one of the most gifted athletes you'll ever see in your life. Oh my gosh, this dude was incredible, man. This dude was incredible. And for his first few years in the league, it was all about his physical ability. But the question becomes, what are you when you don't have your physical ability? What are you? Yeah. Michael Hayden, he said, I work for UPS. We all over the place. Women have no morals, bro. Well, some do. But I can tell you this. Shoot. Boy, you go to them gyms. Boy, I'm telling you right now, you better have them horse blinders on, and you better be very aware of yourself. Very aware. Because I'm telling you, a glance in the wrong direction, and people will be saying stuff about you. This is why these gyms are closing. Man, people don't want to be at those things no more, man. And that's why I say if I had a player on my team talking about cameras following him, I'm telling them straight up, hey, man, I don't want that over here. I wouldn't even look at the player right if he had a camera following him like that all the time. I just wouldn't. You can do that on your off time, but you're not going to have me hanging with you. What's going on, Jeremy Betts? Demetrius Noel said, my wife refused to go for that reason because you don't want what these women, you don't know what these women are posting. Oh, yes. Bro. Super Soul Cry, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to put something in the garage because I'm telling you, man, that gym is different, bro. That's why so many of them are closing. Shoot, I ain't gonna have... man, if I had a player on my team that had a camera following him, nah, bro. Nah, you can't hang together, bro. You got a camera following you. But that was Cam Newton. You know, he's got these, you know, he's trying to give them, you know, he's trying to give these guys like social media advice. I mean, why, bro? Why are you trying to give these young men social media advice? That doesn't even make sense to me. These young men, like you said, you know, you start the conversation off right. Y'all not at the place where I am in my career. Okay, so give us the stuff of where we are in our career because we don't need any of the after football stuff. We don't need all that stuff. We good to go on that. We good to go on that. All right. So let's do another. Let's see, who is this talking?
You're watching
CBS again. CBS has been very big on the Cowboys lately. Very big on the Cowboys. And they are actually talking about the NFC East as a whole. The NFC East as a whole. Of course, first they're going to talk about the Cowboys and NFC East Optimism. So let's check out what they have to say about the Dallas Cowboys. This is CBS.
Spotlight on CBS Sports Network. It is hard to be optimistic when you are a Dallas Cowboys fan born in the year 1994. Everyone before us has seen it all, so hopefully this segment's going to give me one reason to be excited about the Dallas Cowboys as well as the rest of the NFC East. We've got our analyst John Breach and Emery Hunt, the Czar of the Playbook, joining us here to break down optimism. We're thinking positive here, guys. I've got my positive smile on, and we're starting positively
what up, Michael
with
Hilliard?
The Dallas Cowboys, John Breach. We just heard from Dak Prescott earlier this week, and he basically said, look, it's Super Bowl or bust for me at this point. He likes that the Cowboys fans hold him accountable, and he says, I want to get there too. I asked you this in the break, but I'll ask you again on TV. Why should I be confident that this is the year I can say this is our year?
Well, Haley, you also told me you weren't even 2 years old the last time the Dallas Cowboys won a Super Bowl. So it's been a long time for you and all the Cowboys fans out there. But my reason for optimism, and it plays into Dak Prescott, is that this team is returning essentially every single starter on offense. Now, I know they totally revamped their defense, but that side of the ball to me is still kind of an unknown quantity just because of how bad they were last year. Surely they couldn't be any worse. But this offense is so good, they can go out and win games 38-30 or 44-33 if that's what they have to do. They can get into these shootouts. When you're talking about George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams, who ended up being a very pleasant surprise, just totally reignited that Dallas rushing attack. He looked good last year, so you have to feel good about this offense. Definitely good enough to get this team to the playoffs. Is it good enough to win the Super Bowl? I don't know if I'm ready to say that, but I do think the Cowboys have a playoff caliber offense.
I'll take the defense, Breach. I feel like the Cowboys, more so than I've seen them in quite some time, has been super intentional on getting better on defense. And that started last year by making a move to get Quinnen Williams. And then they just doubled down on that.
See, I'm telling y'all right now, that move right there is not talked about enough anymore. Quinnen Williams came in mid-season. Now he's having a full off season with the Cowboys. I'm expecting Quinnen Williams to be dominant. I'm expecting him to be that first-round pick. I'm expecting him to be an absolute anchor on this defense. I am. I'm expecting him to be an absolute anchor. It's the move that people don't give enough credit to.
This offseason, Go and get Kobe Durant in the secondary. Go and get Jalen Thompson, the safety, in the secondary. Then you draft Caleb Downs, the outstanding football player from Ohio State. They also draft LT Overton, who I think is a fantastic 3-4 defensive end. And when you combine all of those things, Rashawn Gary, D. Winters, underrated linebacker, I feel like the Cowboys significantly got better on defense. And again, I've always used this analogy. The Rams, the greatest show on turf in 1999, they were number one in every offensive statistical category. Defensively, they were 15th. So the Cowboys only have to get to 15 on defense, and with their offense that you outlaid perfectly, they can get back to where they need to be, and that's the top of the NFL.
Normally, I would say like
Wow. See, a lot of people are looking at this offense saying it's high power. And if it stays healthy, man, you just give it an average defense, and it's good to go. It's good to go. Great example. Greatest show on turf. Greatest show on turf. Number one in everything offensively. 15th on defense. And again, boy, that's some rare air right there, man. When you win Super Bowls on those types of teams, that is rare air. That's what we're asking Dak to do. But I think they're going to be better than people think on defense. I do. Bass, you said that when your body goes, you have your mind. And above all else, nothing breaks your spirit. Lose faith in plenty, but never within yourself, and will hold you. Well, you know, you think about when you think about in the New Testament in the times of the apostles, you know, one of the things that they were fighting one of the things they were fighting in the first century was this group of people known as the Gnostics. And they believed in the separation of the body and the mind. They said that, you know, basically there was a higher learning. And basically things that you did in the body would not be held against the soul because the body was the problem. And Jesus and the apostles destroyed that way of thinking. That it's actually the body that controls, it's actually the mind that controls the body, not the body controlling the mind. And so that's why whenever we are trying to get better at things, Paul said, bodily exercise profited little. He wasn't saying that there was no profit in bodily exercise, because it's a great profit, as in you being in shape may actually, it'll give you strength. It may even prolong your life somewhat. But when you think about the spirit, your spirit, godliness, all of those things are what compel you into eternity and helps you to get control of your body on this side so that you can get the transformed body to go to the other side. And so you can apply that to everything in life, because one of the things you want to work on as an athlete, and I think this is one of the issues with Cam was really into his body, but he wasn't into his mental game, his spirit, his mind, his soul, how he approached the game spiritually. We know how he approached the game physically. He was a monster. But you gotta, you know, people think that, you know, when you're talking about a game is never just physical. A game is as mental as it is physical. And when your mind game is stronger than your physical game, and if you got a really good physical presence, you're going to be dominant. There's no reason a quarterback built like Tom Brady should be better than Cam Newton. There's no reason. There's no reason a quarterback built like Tom Brady should be better than Cam Newton. But if Brady is working more on his mind than his body, it's not that he wasn't working on his body, but he was working more on his mind and how the game worked and, you know, how everything operated, and made it his business to know where everybody was supposed to be. I mean, man, you're going to be better than people who are physically gifted. You're just going to be better. The Bible tells us something very simple in Romans 12:2. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It never tells you to be transformed by the renewing of your body. Never tells you that. You can apply that principle to everything. You can apply that principle to everything. You want to be successful at something? Yeah, learn how it works. But it's the mind that goes into what you are doing. That's the biggest thing that you can do. It's the biggest thing you can do.
Only up from here, but I feel like the Cowboys were like 31 out of 32 teams in terms of their defense. So 15, kind of steep, but I'm with you. I'll meet you there. I'm feeling more optimistic now than I did at the beginning of this segment. So we will leave it there and hope the Cowboys can find a way to the Super Bowl. In the meantime, I have a question before the question. Did either of you guys get the...
You're going to keep hearing, I'm telling y'all right now, Cowboys fans, y'all go ahead and embrace it. You're not going to get rid of this conversation. People are looking at what the Cowboys are doing, and they're excited. I would dare say, y'all know what's so funny? I would dare say that there are people on the outside of the Cowboys that are more excited than some of the Cowboys. Some of the Cowboys fans are more skeptical than people who are fair weather Cowboy fans. And the reason why, they're just like, man, do y'all see what y'all are doing? Do y'all see what y'all are do y'all see what y'all are doing? Yeah, we see it. Some people don't, but we see it. Yeah. Oh man, hey, Baz, boy, I got a whole sermon I preached on even what you eat matters. Man, I got a whole breakdown on that joint, bruh. Got a whole breakdown. Hey, Super Soul Cry. Hey, bro, you do whatever you gotta do, man. You do whatever you gotta do. He said I'm gonna stay out of the gym to keep my mind away from all those bodies. Hey, Super Soul Cry. You know what? You joking, but you being for real too. Bro, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, when you go into gyms today, I'm telling you right now, man, get your headphones, put your head down, go in there, get your workout on. Don't shower at the gym. It is some absolute creeps at the gym. Don't shower at your local gym. Get your workout on. Put your head down, get your workout on. Go get it. Don't take a shower there. Go home, take a shower. Keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. keep it pushing, man. Keep it pushing. Bottom line, shoot up, man. Some creeps at them gyms, man. It is some absolute creeps. All right, let's check out what they say. I'm not really interested in what they're saying about the Giants, but I do want to hear what they're saying about the Eagles. Let's check it out.
Cowboys and the Giants will play on Sunday Night Football. Elsewhere in the division, you have the returning champions, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles. First time in over 2 decades we have seen a team here repeat as champion. But actually, I want to ask Emery, because I've been wanting, ever since I saw you on HQ and you did your quarterback rankings, you put Jalen Hurts as number 3 in your top 10. So I'm actually glad you and I get to discuss this, because your reason for optimism in Philly is number 3, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that's easy. 2 words, Jalen Hurts. 57-25 as a starter, leading the Philadelphia Eagles. Been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, probably should have won the first one as well, too. I don't understand why folks hate all the success. People just hate winning. They want to be losers. They want to be in the doldrums. They want to have not had a Super Bowl win since 1996 when Tupac dropped that double disc of All Eyes on Me. They want that feeling, but I don't understand why they hate winning.
Ooh-wee. Boy, this man talking about one of the most classic albums of all time. That was the last time, boy. Brought back some memories. They let you know how long it's been.
All Jalen Hurts does is put his team in position to have success. He is this era's version of Troy Aikman. The stats...
Whoa. Wait, hold on. Wait, bro. Wait. You putting you putting Jalen Hurts in the conversation again. Somebody's putting Jalen Hurts in the conversation with Troy Aikman. This is madness, man. This is madness, bro.
not look dynamic, but all you do when you need to have it and gotta go get it, Jalen Hurts will have you on a plus out of those wins, Breach. So for me, it doesn't take long to make my case for the Eagles. As long as Jalen Hurts is out there, whether he's wearing number 2 or number 1, the Eagles have a chance to be optimistic.
Yeah, that losing Super Bowl performance was one of the best QB showings in a Super Bowl ever.
Well, I will give him that. He was better in the Super Bowl that they lost. In the Super Bowl that they won, Jalen Hurts didn't put them in a position to win. They put him in a position to win. That's what happened.
Sure. So, yes, it seems like some people are sleeping on Jalen Hurts. My reasonable optimism for the Eagles is the fact that they are playing the easiest first-place schedule. Now, stick with me here, guys. We had 8 division winners last year, and they are all playing a first-place schedule. Out of those 8 first-place schedules, the Eagles have the easiest one. Why is that important? Well, since the NFL expanded to 17 games back in 2020.
Bro, this schedule is crazy, bro. You know, but at the same time, when I look at this schedule, this is pretty much the Cowboys schedule. I mean, what are we talking about? Everybody says when they look at the Cowboys schedule, it's one of the hardest schedules, but you're looking at the Eagles schedule and they're saying it's one of the easiest schedules. It's the same schedule as the Cowboys, just the range different. I mean, I can't think off the top of my head of the team that they're playing that the Cowboys is not playing. Now, the Cowboys are not playing the Steelers, but other than that, I mean, it's the same schedule. They're playing the Rams. Okay, there's 2 teams they're not playing just off the top of my head. They're not playing the Green Bay Packers. They're not playing the Green Bay Packers, and they're not playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we do got 2 more harder teams, I would say, on our schedule. Yeah, we're playing the Buccaneers. Yeah, we're playing the Buccaneers, and we're playing the Green Bay Packers. And I guess the team that they're playing that we're not playing, just off the top of my head, they're playing the Panthers this year, whom we normally play, but we're not playing. They're playing the Panthers this year, and they're playing the Steelers this year. Those are the only two games that are different, which I will say our 2 teams are probably tougher when you're talking about the Packers. But again, who knows with the injuries the Packers have? They could be about the same thing as the Steelers this year. And when you think about the Panthers, they're on the come up. The Panthers may be equivalent to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I dare say. Yeah. So we may actually be looking at equivalent schedules. Yeah, we may actually be looking at equivalent schedules, but we're going to see how it all turns out in the end. Yeah, we're going to see how it all turns out. Yeah, Lynn, Lynn says, thank you, G. Why is the Eagles schedule easy? It's almost the same as the Cowboys. Crazy. Exactly. I mean, Lynn, you've been hearing me say for the last few weeks, after I saw that Cowboys schedule and how they have it arranged, I'm sorry, but that Cowboys schedule isn't as hard as people think it is. That Cowboys schedule is actually set up for the Cowboys to win. It is. It's set up for the Cowboys to actually go on a playoff run. 3 games in December. Your games in January might actually be meaningless, especially the last one. Man, the Cowboys should go into the playoffs hopefully healthy and be ready to do battle. But again, if the Eagles schedule is easy, what are you saying about the Cowboys? Only thing you changed out is 2 teams.
21. There's been 5 seasons. The team with the easiest first place schedule has averaged at least 10.6 wins per season.
And I'll go even further, Lynn. Watch this. I would dare say where the Cowboys schedule is harder, I would say at the beginning. Man, this ain't no walk in the park right here for the this ain't no walk in the park for the Eagles right here. Man, they got to play the Hawks, the Texans, the 49ers, and I'm going to throw the Colts in there. Boy, They got to run, man. Shoot. Boy, 14, 15, 16, and 17 for them ain't no walk in the park. And not to mention a divisional game against the Giants. Man, them last 5 games for the Eagles, boy, hey, they got a little stretch there.
Season. So you were pretty much a lock to win double digits, almost 11 games. Then you look at their overall schedule. It just really feels like we know the Eagles ended that long NFC streak of going back-to-back champions. It's been over 20 years. Well, how about back-to-back-to-back? That's almost what it feels like looking at this schedule. If Jalen Hurts plays as well as Emery thinks he can, the Eagles might be going for a three-peat in that division.
That's not giving me optimism as a Cowboys fan, Breach. You're going against what you already...
Ain't happening. No, they're not three-peating. The Eagles are not three-peating. Unless something happens. They're not three-peating. Forget it. And again, if people are saying that their schedule is saying double-digit wins. Well, I think the roster for the Cowboys is better. I'm saying the Cowboys going to get double-digit wins too. I think the Cowboys' offense is better than the Eagles. Eagles' defense, we're going to see. Their defense may be better until we see it, but how much better? Special teams, Cowboys' special teams are better. Oh, Steven, you're right. I forgot. They don't play the Ravens. Oh, yeah, they don't play the Ravens. Yeah, we are a little bit tougher because we got the Ravens and the Packers. They didn't have the Packers, so I can see that. Yeah. But even then, I still say the Cowboys should be able to get double-digit wins, but we're going to see what happens when we get it all on paper. But again, man, very high expectations. All right, this is my Poobie D segment.
Yes! Here we go!
When I saw this, I said, boy, I want to hear from Poobie D. Poobie D on vacation, so he may not be on right now. But I said, when I saw this, I have got to hear what Poobie D has to say about this. We finally got a Dallas Cowboy mentioned in the top 100. And it is crazy to me that when they start talking about the 2026 top 100 players, it is insane to me where CeeDee Lamb is ranking on this. And I understand why they're doing it. I can understand why they're doing it. Well, let me pull this up. NFL.com. I mean, I understand why they are doing it. Let's kind of go to this list. And it's not ESPN, it's NFL.com. I'm sorry. Let's go over here. Top 100 players. So now we're down to 53. So at number 60, they got Brock Bowers. 59, they got Bo Nix. 58, they have Nico Collins. He's down from 26. Deion Dawkins. I guess he's down. I guess he used to be 15 or something. Jalen Hurts, down, 56. This is mind-blowing. CeeDee Lamb, top 100 players, they have him at 55. Wow. They got him at 55. If I'm not mistaken, Demetrius, if I'm not mistaken, these are player rankings. Yeah, these are player rankings if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I thought NFL Top 100 voted on by the players themselves. These are player rankings. And they have CeeDee Lamb at 55. Now, I'm going to tell you why I believe they have CeeDee Lamb at 55. CeeDee Lamb has been hurt 2 seasons in a row. But also, the drop passes against the Philadelphia Eagles. People are blaming CeeDee Lamb for that Philadelphia Eagle loss in game number 1. And not only did he have drops against the Eagles in game number 1, CeeDee Lamb had drops against the Eagles in game number 2. And I'm going to tell you something else that didn't hurt this, whether people realize it or not. This is also because of the season that George Pickens had. Now, we're not going to have this argument tonight. But I know some of us don't like this conversation. Y'all do know that there are people who think that George Pickens is better than CeeDee Lamb. Y'all do know that there are players who think that George Pickens is better than CeeDee Lamb. Now, for me, I'm not really concerned or mad about people having that, because that's not actually a knock on CeeDee Lamb. That's really showing you just how good George Pickens was last season. That's not a knock on CeeDee Lamb. Nobody's saying, well, I don't think they're saying, they're not saying that CeeDee Lamb still isn't a top 10, top 7, top 5 receiver. They still may have him at top 5. They still may have him in the top 7. They still may have him in the top 10. But I also think what they're saying is George Pickens is better than CeeDee Lamb. And you're going to see this when, and I told y'all, you're going to start seeing these Cowboys players show up, because we didn't see them all the way to number 60. And here we are at number 55, and we got the first Dallas Cowboy player. So what does that tell us? Imagine this. Where do you think George Pickens ranks? George Pickens isn't on the list. He's going to be on this list. Where do you think George Pickens is? 50s? 40s? 30s? 20s? Where do you think he is? I am not going to be surprised if George Pickens is somewhere between 20 and 35. I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised wherever he is now, especially now that you got to 53. Fred Warner is 54. Davante Adams is 53. Man, if you got Davante, I'm struggling with this, because there's no way I'm going to have Davante Adams over CeeDee Lamb. I'm putting CeeDee Lamb over Davante Adams. But again, imagine this. If they got Davante Adams at 53, if they got CeeDee Lamb at 55, where in the world do you think they have George Pickens? I'm not going to be surprised if George Pickens is between 20 and 35. I'm not going to be surprised. Very interested in seeing where he is. There are about 3 other players, I believe, that's going to make this list for the Dallas Cowboys, maybe even more. But just off the top of my head, top 100 players, now that we're to 53, I'm expecting to see Quinnen Williams. I'm expecting to see George Pickens. I'm expecting to see Tyler Smith. I'm expecting to see Dak Prescott. Those are just the 4 that I can think of off the top of my noggin. I'm trying to think maybe who I left off. Who did I leave off? I'm trying to think defensively. Let me see if I can pull up this Cowboys roster on this top 10 thing here, or these top 100 players. But off the top of my noggin, those are the players I think that are going to be on here. Because, of course, I knew CeeDee Lamb was going to be on there. I knew George Pickens was going to be on there. But now that I'm seeing where they have him, I'm just kind of like, wow. You got CeeDee Lamb all the way back at 55. So looking at the Cowboys offensively, and you know what? I'm going to put some respect on this one player's name. I've been very disrespectful of this one player. I'm going to put him on here. I know George Pickens will be on here. Ty Smith will be on here. I wouldn't be surprised if Cooper Beebe's on here. Might not make it. I wouldn't be surprised. Ty Booker, they might not let him on the second season, but Ty Booker, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me. Dak Prescott's going to be on here. I think Javonte Williams could be a sleeper player on here, top 100 player. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I think he could be a sleeper player. So if I'm looking at the offense, what's left? Javonte, Dak, possibly Booker, possibly Cooper, but I know Smith and I know Pickens. I got a feeling Ty Smith will be in the top 25. George Pickens will be anywhere from 20 to 35. When I look at the defense, I'm expecting Quinnen Williams to be in the top 100 players. Everyone else on the defense, I don't see anybody else on the Cowboys defense. It would shock me if they were in the top 100. So you're looking at about maybe possibly 6 more players, definitely at least 4 more players, and I'm going to say 5. Man, let me tell y'all something. I have got to put some respect on this man's name.
Put some respect on my name. You understand me? When y'all say my name, put some respect on it.
I have been disrespecting this man. We still have one of the best kickers in the league, if not the best kicker in the league. I'm not going to be surprised if Brandon Aubrey. Yeah. Put some respect on this man's name. Put some respect on this man's name. I have been leaving this man off the list. Every time I talk about these top 100 players and these great players the Cowboys have, Brandon Aubrey, forgive me. Brandon Aubrey needs to be Brandon Aubrey needs to be on these lists, man.
Put some respect on my name.
Put some respect on Brandon Aubrey's name, G.
My name, put some respect on it.
Put some respect on this man's name, man. Come on, man. How have I been leaving off Brandon Aubrey? Man, you literally got the best kicker in the league. Brandon Aubrey's got to be in that top 50. He will be in that top 50. Absolutely. But to put a kicker before CeeDee Lamb is crazy work, man. It's crazy work. But you could absolutely see it. I forgot about Brandon Aubrey, man. Forgot about Brandon Aubrey. Can't forget about Brandon Aubrey. Got to put some respect on that man's name. For sure. Got to put some respect on that man's name. I can't believe I keep forgetting when I talk about these top 100 players. I be forgetting about this man, bro. I got to put this man on there. Right, fan, you got to be rolling the comments, bro. This man said it's Taco Charlton on there. He didn't make it. He didn't make it. Nope, Reddy Stewart didn't make it either. And Poopy D gonna tell you that Triquez Bridges didn't make it either. Nah, Triquez Bridges didn't make it, man. He didn't make it. Nope, he didn't make it. But I think we got about at least 5 more players that's gonna be on there for sure. Bass said, gee, we in a league where kickers hold teams hostage to get that bag. He said deservingly so, but still, what he said, dang, what a time to be alive. Yes, sir. And you know it's going to be crazy, Bass, if you got Brandon Aubrey on there ahead of CeeDee Lamb. But again, I really just think what it's showing is that CeeDee Lamb has been kind of hurt the last couple of seasons, and George Pickens had a great season last year. So I think that's what you're looking at. But again, I got to put some respect on that man's name. All right. So let's look at another segment here, man. Another segment. Yeah, hey, Jaden Justin, what's up, man? Yeah, man, no Kenneth Murray Jr. Oh, hold on. Jaden, hold on. Let's put some respect on that man's name, man. K9. Boy, I'll never get over the fact they were calling Kenneth Murray K9, bro. How in the world are you calling Kenneth Murray K9? Bro, so disrespectful, man. So disrespectful. All right. So let's go to something else I found today. It's Jason Garrett. One thing I'll tell you about Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett sings the praises of one Rain Dakota Prescott. Constantly. Sings the praises of Rain Dakota Prescott. And Jason Garrett will tell you every single opportunity that he gets that Dak Prescott that Dak Prescott is underrated. So let me see what I got here. Okay, so we're going to listen to two segments. Okay, so we got two segments. NFL on ESPN, Kevin Clark and Jason Garrett. First, we're going to listen to him talk about what to expect from the 2026 Cowboys in 2026. All right, let's roll it.
Where he's going to be talking to different coaches about leadership. It sounds like a really cool project. I personally very interested in that. What made you want to do that, Coach?
It's a long story. I did a couple projects with NFL Films, one on the evolution of throwing a football and one on evaluating quarterbacks. And a good friend of mine, Charlie Besser, who has this company called Inner Sport, reached out to me after the first one and said, "Hey, why don't you come to Chicago? Let's talk about doing some stuff." And, he and I have known each other for a long time, and we've talked a lot about leadership. First, when I was playing as a quarterback, and then certainly through my time as a coach and as a head coach. And, he said, "Hey, what do you think about doing something on leadership? Maybe, we talk to other coaches and just talk about, not what happened in the game yesterday, but, building a team, establishing a culture."
I appreciate Jason Garrett's podcast, Coach to Coach. Excuse me, but today we're going to listen to him talk about the Cowboys. I'm sorry. Here we go.
I won't keep you forever. I want to talk a little bit about ball here. So I'm really high on the Dallas Cowboys this year. I think that if their defense gets to, frankly, average, the offense can take it the rest of the way. I think Dak Prescott is going to be an MVP candidate. I think Brian Schottenheimer showed strides last year, especially as the season came along. Am I nuts to think that the Dallas Cowboys, a team you know very well, you spend a lot of time in Dallas, have the capability, especially with Dak Prescott and his leadership skills and his talent, to compete at the very highest level of the season?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. And again, it starts with Dak Prescott. I was fortunate to work with him his first 4 years in the NFL, and he's just a special guy. And I think he's one of the most underappreciated players in the NFL. I mean, because the Cowboys, they're such a high profile organization and there's so much scrutiny on the team. I mean, obviously everybody knows who he is, but I'm not so sure people have appreciated what he's done over the course of his 10 years as the quarterback there. So I think it starts there. Obviously, they were very potent on offense last year. 3 first-round picks on the offensive line, playmakers outside, fantastic runner, tight end, and Dak running the whole show. I think there's a lot to be optimistic about there. And, last year it was really challenging for them on the defensive side of the ball. The Micah Parsons situation was something that hung over the franchise, and it made it hard. It made it hard to establish themselves and the identity they wanted on defense. To me, he's one of the most disruptive pass rushers in the game, and someone who had a huge impact. They decided to move on, and now I think they're starting to reap some of the rewards from that trade. 2 first-round picks. They've added veteran players, Quinnen Williams, Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, all those guys, mixed with some young guys. They the first-round picks they have, Caleb Downs, and I think all of that stuff allows them to improve on that side of the ball, and I think there's reason for optimism. The one thing that you have to remember, though, is last year they won 7 out of 17, and if you look at the teams they beat Washington twice, the Giants, they beat the Jets, they beat the Raiders, they beat the Chiefs in a down year. The one good win they had was Philadelphia, obviously a great win for them. But they lost to Arizona. They lost 5 or 6 games by double digits. So, they're trying to establish a culture where they compete every day. That's a big mantra for them. But the thing I'm going to be watching for more than anything else is, do they in fact do that? And the easy explanation is, hey, the defense wasn't very good. The offense was great, but in all the big moments and against the tougher teams, they didn't compete to the level they need to. So that's something they have to establish as they improve the defensive side of the ball and just the overall culture of the team. And I think it starts with Dak. He's certainly showing them the way on that. Everybody else just needs to follow.
Jason Garrett made some great points. I mean, it's Captain Obvious, but I pointed out something similar the other day. But this team is going to have to start winning when they're supposed to win. You can't just beat the bad teams. You got to not only beat the good teams, but you also got to win pivotal games. Games that give you position in the division. Games that give you position in playoff seeding. You got to win games that really, those turning point games that turn a franchise, season-defining wins. You got to have some of those. And the Cowboys, even when they were winning 12 games, I pointed that out. The problem was with the Cowboys, they couldn't beat the Bills, the Patriots. They couldn't beat those, the Packers, the 49ers. They couldn't beat teams like that when it mattered. And so they got to get all of these things. I mean, this is going to be a huge, huge season for the Cowboys, because if we are talking about double-digit wins, well, they're going to have to put a lot of things together. A lot of things together. And so who you beat, that matters too. That matters. And so, again, someone asked a question in the chat. I talked about this the other day, but I'll look at it one more time. We'll look at it one more time. We talked about it the other day. He was asking a team. Now, the question becomes, let me see, who is this up here? He asked the question, Vinny Holtz. What up, Vinny? Vinny said, when was the last time a team with an average defense won the Super Bowl? All right, let me show you. We actually looked at this the other day. We looked at the defensive ranking of the last, let's see. Of the last 20 Super Bowl teams, or Super Bowl winners, I should say. And some of them had, and it's very rare, but some of them had what you would call average defenses. Okay, this one gave me a different one. Let me see here. And the question is, what is an average defense? Well, if you ask me what an average defense is, I would say that an average defense is middle of the pack. So if an average defense is the middle of the pack, you got 32 teams. That means that the average defense would have to be somewhere around 16. And I would dare say an average defense is probably around 15 to 20. 15 to 20, 15 to 22, something in there. But you probably want to be around that 15, 16, 17, 18 mark. Well, when we look at teams that have done it, it's actually been done in recent history. Vinny Holtz was asking, 2014, 2017, no, wrong teams. 2022, Kansas City Chiefs, 16th ranked defense. They won the Super Bowl in 2022. It says it spiked in the playoffs. And that's what I think the Cowboys are going to do. I think their defense will get better at the end. It was also done in 2009 by the New Orleans Saints. Had a very high-powered offense. They did it also. 2011, it was done by the Giants. 25th ranked defense. Lowest ranked defense to win a Super Bowl in this span. So, again, people are basically saying, if the Cowboys defense can be average. Now, understand what average means. That's all of the games put together. But I believe the Cowboys will be better towards the end. You might say over an average, over the whole season, the Cowboys defense is average. But then if you were to look at maybe, let's say you go back and say, well, what do they look like the last 6 games of the season? What if they're a top 10 defense the last 6 games of the season? You take a top 10 defense in the last 6 games of the season into the playoffs, it's a top 10 defense. It's not an average defense. So what you're hoping for the Cowboys is that defense, while it may be average when you look at the rank overall, what you're hoping is that as it goes down the stretch, it gets better and better and better. So where it's average, it's actually top 10. That's what you're hoping. That's what you're hoping. Baz, that was my wife texting. How'd you know that? But she ain't talking about no Odyssey. Man, I ain't thinking about no Odyssey, man. I can't, bro. That's a whole nother YouTube channel right there, but I ain't got time for no Odyssey. I ain't watching no Odyssey, man. I ain't watching no Odyssey. 805, you said first must win against the Ravens. You know what, 805, I'm going to equate the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to equate the Baltimore Ravens to Neo's first test in the Matrix, or his first real test. Neo, when he first got in the Matrix, I mean, he was in there tearing it up. The brain scans, the fighting, some of the things he was doing. The real test for Neo was jumping from one building to another one. And he failed on the first test. I'm not going to be overly concerned if the Cowboys lose the third game to the Baltimore Ravens, simply because, one, you're playing in Rio de Janeiro. Two, maybe I should say two. One, you are playing against possibly the absolute best run team in the league. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Boy, that's going to be a monumental feat right there, man. Good. Man, you talking about putting your run defense to the test? That's a test. So we're going to see what that looks like. So I'm considering that Neo jumping from building to the other building the first time. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that type of run game. It might be pretty tough. But when they start facing those other run teams, as they get to the 5th, 6th, and 7th games and on, I'm expecting them to start passing that test against those running teams. That's what I'm expecting. But again, it's been done. Average defense. Number one statistically, number one offense. Average defense. It's been done. Absolutely. More than once.
Talent standpoint, let's nerd out a little bit on Dak. You look at his numbers last year, the way he's able to drive the football down the field was unbelievable. It was almost video game numbers, play action. When he throws 10 yards down the field to either ceedee or George Pickens, it was like 15 yards per play. It was stuff that shouldn't be happening in an NFL game. What does Dak, and let's get as nerdy as possible, what does Dak do well that the common fan wouldn't necessarily appreciate, having been around for his development, Coach?
Well, let's start with who he is. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but he's a really special guy. He's a special person. He's a special leader. The way he impacts that entire team, it's something else. And he did it right from the start. He won 13 games as a rookie. And, that's hard to do in the NFL. And he got players around him, really believing that they can get great things accomplished. And, somebody asked me when they traded for George Pickens, is this a good trade? This is a guy who's been troubled. And I said, I think it's a really good trade because of Dak Prescott. Dak has an amazing way of connecting with players and, finding a way to bring out their best and not stifling them in any way, but, really embracing who they are and getting what they do at the highest level to show up each and every day. And that's what he's done with Pickens. And so, what's impressed me most about Dak is how he's improved over the course of his career. And I tell young quarterbacks this all the time, watch your favorite players. Tom Brady, over the course of 22, 23 years, got better year after year after year. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, you pick your guy, these guys improve. And Dak has demonstrated that. Does an amazing job keeping his body in shape physically. He's had some injuries, but he comes back from those. And just his understanding of the game continues continues to improve. So when he gets to the line of scrimmage, he knows what he's seeing from the defense. He knows how to attack it, and he aggressively goes after it. I think he's refined his passing skills. He's worked with John Beck and some other people throughout his career, and I just think he's refined his ability to throw the football. He's developed power. He's developed consistency more than he had early on in his career. Remember, he was at Mississippi State, and they ran a lot of quarterback power from the gun. So he was a hell of a football player there and made a huge impact on that program. But he had to refine his passing skills, and he came in and had a great rookie year, got better and better every year. And I just think now he's playing as well as anybody in the league.
I think Stephen Jones has said that I think that the front office was higher on some other quarterbacks than Dak Prescott because of the offense he came out of at Mississippi State, that it wasn't NFL type of offense that you would see. And remember, this is 2016, so it feels like a million years ago in football standpoint. But just for him to come in from the Mississippi State offense to immediately, as you said, win 13 games at the NFL level was pretty incredible.
Yeah, and when we evaluated him, I think everybody had a consensus that this guy has the traits to be the next quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Remember, Tony Romo was our quarterback at the time, and but we all felt, I know I felt, that it's going to take him a little time. But for the very reason you just said, he's coming from this offense where he's running downhill runs from the gun, and so we felt like he had all the traits, all the intangibles, everything you wanted. But I'm like, hey, we're going to be under center. We're going to do some things that he hasn't done very much in college, but he demonstrated quickly that he's a fast learner. And, I always tell this story about Dak. My concern was, hey, under center. I had seen some guys try to transition from the gun to go under center, and it was hard for them. The game felt completely different to them. And I remember going out for his first rookie minicamp, and I had my eyes on him. My objective in practice was, can Prescott in his first practice get away from center? Can he take a snap and get away from center? And I went over to the run drill. The rookies, this is the first 15 minutes of practice, and he's under center and he takes a snap and he's awkward coming away from the line. And I kind of got in there and said, Dak, put mental weight on your right foot, drive it down and get your ass back and get the ball, drive the ball back to the runner. And he kind of looked at me and said, okay. And the next one was better.
Yeah.
The next one after that was better. He worked on it after practice. It was better. But this was Friday morning. By Sunday morning, when we finished up the rookie minicamp, I said, this will not be a problem. And it told me a lot about his ability to do that. But more than that, the kind of guy he is. And I think he's demonstrated that over the course of his career. He learns from his experiences. He's very coachable. And whatever you tell him to do, he's going to try to implement it. And it's going to show up in his play.
And that is what differentiates Dak Prescott from so many other people. Dak's mental game is incredible. And that's what Dak Prescott doesn't get enough credit for. Dak's mental game is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And so, as we are, finally getting a team around Dak Prescott, I really believe that Dak Prescott is going to be able to lead. He's going to be able to lead this team as the overall general. He's going to be able to lead a good team to the Super Bowl. He's going to be able to lead a good team to the Super Bowl. And that's all you want. You want a good team, you want a great team with a leader like Dak Prescott. And we don't need Dak Prescott to play outside of himself. We need to play within himself. Like he did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that season. In that playoff game when he retired Tom Brady. It's one of the best playoff games I've ever seen. Dak Prescott didn't play outside of himself. Kellen Moore came up with a game plan. And everything I saw in that Tampa Bay game was Dak Prescott. It was classic Dak Prescott. Throwing, play action, running, you name it, Dak did it. I wish they'd have had that same plan for the 49ers the following week. I really think the Cowboys were so focused on winning that game against the Buccaneers and Tom Brady that they were not as fired up against the 49ers. And again, the 49ers personnel defensively had something to do with that. Our personnel had something to do with that too, because we didn't really have the players that could do some of the things that we did against the Buccaneers. They really were not good enough. But I wish they would have dug down a little bit deeper. I wish they'd have dug down a little bit deeper and would have been able to pull that one off. Yeah, hey, Bez, I'm going to tell you something. Garrett had a couple of teams. Man. But, man, 2014, 2016, Garrett had a couple of years where he could have made it. But got us on the catch in 2014. And then in 2016, I think we left too much time on the clock. I think we left way too much time on the clock and allowed Aaron bleeping Rodgers to come up with a play in the sand, and they beat us. But again, I'm going to tell you something about Garrett. Garrett is another one of these people that if I had an advisory board, Jason Garrett could be on my advisory board. I'd have no problem with it. Jason Garrett could be on my advisory board. He just couldn't be my head coach. He just couldn't be my head coach. That's where I would draw the line. That's where I would actually draw the line with Jason Garrett. All right. So now let's kind of switch gears. And I actually didn't listen to this, but I got another thing here.
All right, we have a great article right
where they are talking about quarterbacks who are overrated and underrated. And I haven't listened to this, so we're going to see. Let me see if they got the timestamps in here. They got various quarterbacks in here. And the only quarterback I'm concerned about is our beloved Dak Prescott. So they're talking about quarterbacks who are overrated and underrated. And so now the question is Dak overrated? Let's go to the section where they're talking about this. See what they have to say about our beloved Dak Rain Dakota Prescott. Let's see.
And out at the games with the Cowboys, and what you see.
Prescott is under crazy numbers. His defense has not been underrated side. And when you're the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and both of you guys know this very well, there's always so much pressure. Expectations are literally through the roof no matter what. And we got to remember, Dak has been putting up crazy numbers. His defense has not been giving him any favors at all. But Garrett, tell the Dak haters.
Wait a minute. Is that Ben Denucci? Is that Ben Denucci? What's up, Ben Denucci? Ex-Dallas Cowboy, what is up?
Tell them why Dak Prescott is underrated. They need to hear it.
Yeah, so I'm in the building every day at practice and out at the games with the Cowboys. And what you see from Dak Prescott is someone who's in complete control at the line of scrimmage. Head coach Brian Schottenheimer gives him full autonomy to change the plays. And despite having the worst defense in football last year, 30.1 points per game allowed, the second most allowed in a single season in the Cowboys' 66-year history, Dak was efficient, top 10 in passer rating, 30 touchdowns, over 4,500 yards. He's only the 9th quarterback in NFL history to have 3 4,500-yard passing seasons. Just in complete control, top 10 offense despite the horrific defense. And he's someone, Ben, you can attest to this, just the ultimate locker room leader. Guys will die out there on the football field for him. And he kind of gets caught up in the Cowboys.
Wow, man, this is why Dak Prescott has got to get a Super Bowl. Dak Prescott, but by the time it's all said and done, Dak's going to own every single record with the Cowboys. Every single record. Dak's going to be top 3, number 1. He's going to pass Troy Aikman this year. What is that, 11 wins? We know he's going to pass Roger Staubach. He needs 11 wins to pass, or 12 wins to pass Troy. So he'll pass Troy next season. Wow. This dude, Dak Prescott, been putting up work, man. This dude been putting in work. So he's put himself in rare air statistically. It's time to get a Super Bowl like one of those two quarterbacks. Absolutely. You got to cap this career off with a Super Bowl. And I believe he's going to get 2.
Boys of it all, Jerry Jones, poor salary cap management, but that has nothing to do with his play on the field. And I think that's why he's underrated. Because if you asked 100 people on social media, is Dak Prescott a top 10 quarterback? I think you get a wide range of answers, and I don't think that's right.
I agree with you, Garrett. I think you hit the nail on.
Baz, this is the first time I've ever seen this guy. I don't know if you've ever seen him before. Man, I wonder if anybody's ever talked to him about the dude from bro. I wonder if anybody's ever talked to him about the dude from. And again, hey, we got Dak Prescott homeboy Ben Denucci. Yeah. Soul Train 58. I think he will. I think Dak will get him a Super Bowl. I think he's going to get 2. I really do. I think the team that they are building, I think they'll get 1. I think one of them is probably going to be a surprise. And that's why I'm saying I'm not going to be surprised if they get it this year. I'm not going to be surprised. But I fully expect next year. I expect next year, no matter what happens, I expect next year, I expect them to get that Super Bowl. I expect them to get it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Baz. Yeah, you said stop smiling like that. Bro, I'm telling you, it's the dude from, man. I mean, he looks better than that dude, but he could definitely be the cousin. He could definitely be the cousin. I mean, if he showed up on the show next year in the final season, it wouldn't surprise me, bro. It just wouldn't surprise me. They could write him right into the show. He'd just be the better looking version.
The head with the command that we've seen Dak operating with at the line of scrimmage the last couple years. And that tells me 100% that Brian Schottenheimer has complete trust in Dak Prescott at any scenario, any situation, any point at the game that, hey, if Dak sees a look, Dak likes what we're getting out here, he can get the boys in the right spot, get the offense rolling, and know that he's going to get the ball where it's supposed to be, and he's got a plethora of weapons. But being there for a couple years, getting to see him work and see him behind the scenes for a couple years, the way that he commands a room when he walks into the room, I just think when you talk about sustained success at the quarterback position in the NFL nowadays, I don't even think the list is 5 guys who can say they're 10-year starters in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, and Dak Prescott. So when we start talking about Dak and what he's meant to the NFL and what he's meant to the Cowboys, I think it's time.
Rare air, man. Let me tell you something. It is time for Dak Prescott to get a Super Bowl. He has paid his dues. This is powerful what Denucci just pointed out. He is one of only 5 quarterbacks that has been in the league longer than, 5 to 7 years? Wow. Man, it's time. Brandy, you got me rolling in the comments. Brandy said the movies are called Child's Play and black folks call it Chucky. You ain't lying. You're exactly right.
We start to put some respect on his name.
All right, we're going to talk about the other helmet that's right behind you, Ben, and we're talking about...
Wait a minute. Ben Denucci said what?
Put some respect on my name. You understand me? When y'all say my name, put some respect on it.
Ben Denucci said put some respect on Dak Prescott's name.
We're going to Denver. Go Knicks. And
he said put some respect on it. Man, I'm telling you right now, Dak Prescott, the expectations are sky high with the Dallas Cowboys right now. Sky high with the Dallas Cowboys. Man, I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's even just the expectations. I believe because
Let me just say why it's important to have.
People like Dak Prescott. They understand like his perseverance, everything that he's been through. We're entering into a stage where people are wanting Dak Prescott now to win a Super Bowl. They are wanting him to win a Super Bowl. Okay, let me see something here. This may not be about, they was talking about the draft picks, but I don't really see where a Cowboy is on here. So we're actually going to skip that segment and we're going to go right to our last segment. Season.
Morning when we finished up.
We're going to go to season projections. Let me see if I got the right link here. This is Bill Barnwell. Season projections. And the only one that we are concerned with is the Dallas Cowboys. But this is Bill Barnwell and his projections. Let me see. Let me get it over here. And as a matter of fact, I really want to see two teams. I'm sure everybody's already expecting the Rams to win the Super Bowl, so I'm not worried about them. I wanted to see if the Eagles were on here. I don't see the Eagles. All right, so let's go to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, when it comes to expectations and projections, the Cowboys are making everybody's list. So hold on, let me put the timestamps for people who go back and watch this stuff afterwards. I always try to put the timestamps so people can see the timestamps. This is the season projection for the Dallas Cowboys as it applies to Bill Barnwell.
Yes! Here we go!
Something that is only projected as 14th in DVOA. And that is surprising to me. They were, like a bottom of the top 10 offense last year. They were 8th in DVOA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see many areas of where that's going to really drop off to where I'd be concerned that they're kind of more of an average offense. And I think they are going to also benefit from some defensive production getting better too, because this was the worst defense in the league last year. By extension, the offense had the worst starting field position in the league. So I think this team had to go longer and drive longer than any other team just to get into the red zone, which they did at the 5th highest rate on drives. So I think this is an offense that I still think has some ability to get better too. We kind of talked about Brian Schottenheimer before the year, kind of wondering what he was going to be, and ended.
So DVOA is defense adjusted value. Let me read what it says here. This is something I've never even heard of this. DVOA stands for defense adjusted value over average, an advanced football analytics metric that measures team or player efficiency by evaluating success on every single play relative to a league average, adjusted for down, distance, and opponent strength. So the Cowboys were ranked 14. Let me give us some more of how this works. Let me see if I can get this up on the screen here. I don't know. Did y'all know what DVOA was before this guy brought it up? It's my first time. I'll be honest with you. All these acronyms sometimes in football they are like mind-blowing to me. But all right, let me pull this up.
Up being like,
all right, what does DVOA mean? And they got some other stuff here. Let's see. All right, so I want to pull this up. Let's see. Let me show you what this means. Looks like there's a lot of metrics that goes into this DVOA that he's talking about. Of course, DVOA stands for adjusted value over average. Says it evaluates success on every single play, comparing it to a league average baseline based on down, distance, field location, and quality of the opponent. How does it work? DVOA takes raw statistics and adjusts them for context. Here are the core principles of the metric: situation-based. 5 yards gained on 3rd and 4 is worth much more than 5 yards gained on 3rd and 12. So now I can see why the Cowboys would be further down on this list, even though they had a really good offense, because the Cowboys were struggling on short yardage, struggling in the red zone, and would convert some of the longer thirds. Says opponent adjusted. If an offense has a great game against a historically bad defense, DVOA scales back the credit. Conversely, if a team struggles offensively against a top-tier defense, the metric doesn't penalize them as harshly. So I can see where the Cowboys' DVOA wouldn't be where we would think it would be too, is because of getting beat by teams like the Arizona Cardinals. Percentage scale, DVOA is expressed as a percentage, with 0% being the league average. For offense, a positive percentage means the unit is better than average. For defense, the opposite is true. A negative percentage means the defense allows fewer points allowed than average. Okay, so I'd have to really soak all that in. Man, I'm going to tell you something right now, Frank Lawrence. If ESPN hires Diana Rossini, it's all I need to know about what they are doing.
Really impressive in the fact that they were able to, use some motion, like use more modern things that we hadn't really seen in the Cowboys offense, or at least like the Schottenheimer coordinated offense under Mike McCarthy. So it is something where I think, whether CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are both going to be like in the top 5 of receiving yards, I'm not sure that's going to happen, but I still think this has the ability to be a much better offense than the 14th that it's being projected.
Yeah, and another thing that came to mind when it came to what the defense didn't offer last year was takeaways. I mean, they forced turnovers on 6% of their drives, which would be the lowest number in football in a typical season, except for the fact that the Commanders were at 5%.
Wow. Yeah, they got to improve that. That defense has got to get more takeaways. Absolutely.
And the Jets were at 1.6% because they did not intercept a single pass all season, which is still, to me, the craziest statistic of the 2025 season. That means short fields typically with takeaways, or shorter fields at the very least with takeaways if you get them, on the opposing side of the field. And so that does feel like it's an opportunity for the Cowboys maybe to get some easier touchdowns, not having to go the length of the field and having the ball maybe more often and in more advantageous situations.
Yes.
I guess I'd ask you, is there something you think that stands out that sort of gives DVOA some pause or some hesitation? Whether it be, you said personnel, you don't really feel that way, but is there something in the numbers for the 2026 Cowboys that makes you think like this is what the sort of algorithm is thinking in terms of this projection?
I think it is a little bit of, they were able to not have turnovers on offense, which I think is maybe, I think yes. And we've seen Dak is the type of quarterback for the good and bad who, if he sees a tight window, especially up the seam, the man is throwing it. And sometimes that's,
See, we got to get that seam route back. Dak used to own the seams, but Ferguson lately, man, alligator arms, got the deal, alligator arms. Just, Ferguson hasn't been what he should have been. I'm thankful we got Michael Trigg.
Amazing play. Sometimes it, puts the pass into danger. So I think there is a little bit of that. They weren't the most effective red zone team in the league, but I think they were just, closer to average, although it was a team that was much better going into the red zone than they were in the red zone. But I think that could potentially also increase too.
Yes.
I think, Mike Tanier in his chapter kind of talks about some of the play calling in the red zone, which was the issue more than, them just not being able to score, which it could be a bit of a concern there. But I don't know. Between Dak, CeeDee, and George Pickens, and probably a better run game with Javonte Williams, just kind of getting better, I think I'm optimistic that this offense is still going to be like a top 10 unit at the least.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things that maybe might come to mind for me. Tough schedule, 4th overall in terms of schedule. I don't know about the offensive-defensive splits there, but maybe that factors in here where they face a tough set of defenses. Tackle maybe is the kind of the weak spot I'd point to. This is a really good interior offensive line. Tyler Guyton, Tyler Booker, Cooper Beebe, I think one of the best guard and center units in all football. But Tyler Smith, Tyler Booker. I might have said Tyler Guyton, I apologize. But Tyler Guyton is at left tackle. Terrence Steele really hasn't been the same guy since his ACL tear at right tackle. That's kind of the thing that concerns me, especially in a division that has.
So maybe Terrence Steele, now 2 years removed from that particular injury, maybe he's going to be better this year. We're going to see what Tyler Guyton is in his third year. I mean, I'm telling you now, if our tackles get it together, we're going to be hard to stop. If these tackles get it together, we're going to be hard to stop, Cowboys. We are going to be hard to stop. And so we hope they get it together. But yeah. A lot of Captain Obvious things here. I can appreciate it. A lot of Captain Obvious stuff here, though.
Abdul Carter, Jonathan Greener, the Commanders pass rush way better on paper. Maybe that would scare me a bit. But like you said, I mean, it's not like Dak's had great tackle play the last couple of years, and he's still been playing at a really high level when he's been healthy. So tough one for me to see. You know, could you convince me they might be the 8th or 10th best offense in football? Yeah, I could see that. Like, that seems like a pretty reasonable projection. 14, not going to say it'd be the most stunning thing I've ever seen, but I would be surprised without a significant injury to one or two of their.
Now, notice what they're talking about, though. They're talking about DVOA. That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about as the Cowboys were the third best offense in football. They're talking about DVA. So I get this stat, but I don't get this stat. I ain't worried about this stat. The stat I'm worried about is wins.
For key players on offense.
Yeah, although the one thing that Tanya does mention in the chapter, and it is kind of a gift and a curse, is Brandon Aubrey, which they are reliant on their kicker to do things that other kickers would not be asked to do. And that does turn drives that could be a little more aggressive, pushing into the red zone or trying to score a touchdown.
Hopefully we will not be as reliant on Brandon Aubrey, other than kicking extra points.
Into longer field goals. And that's maybe a little bit of an issue if you're just kind of, picking nits here for, why they would be closer to average on offense, because that's more of a, special teams thing. That's something that the Cowboys, have a great kicker and let him show it.
Yeah. And certainly they could have, like I said, some of those drives where they do get some short fields this year. They could do well on those drives and be worse on the longer drives, and DVOA could still drop because, you're not getting extra credit for scoring on a short drive. You're just doing kind of what the short drive suggests you're likely to do. Let's do one more prediction that you feel.
This is why I'm glad that teams are not focusing on DVOA, but I do say that these are two places the Cowboys are going to have to improve. These are Captain Obvious. Red zone. Cowboys have got to be better in the red zone. Not only do they have to be better in the red zone, I mean, they need to score. They need to score. When you get inside the 5, run the ball, man. Run the ball. Get Jaden Blue, get the sweep game. Run the ball. Michael Trigg will be there. I mean, give us that tight end option. They got to be better in the red zone. George Pickens jump balls, corner of the end zone. They got to be better. They also got to be better when they get short fields. Score. Score when you get that short field. Score. The defense has got to get the offense more short fields. Get them some turnovers. Give the offense more opportunities. Stops on 3rd and longs. And one of the biggest things, 3 things offensively. Red zone, number 1. Shorter, as they were talking about, scoring on the shorter drives when you get the short fields, cash in. And maybe I should even say, / less field goals from Brandon Aubrey. We need less field goals from Brandon Aubrey. And 3rd, and I mean one of the biggest testimonies and tests for this Dallas Cowboys team is going to be, can you stop leading the league in penalties? Yeah. Can you stop leading the NFL in penalties? Cowboys have destroyed themselves, stalled drives, taking points off the board, settle for field goals. Why? Penalties, penalties, penalties. And I mean dumb ones. All right, man. We got through all of our segments for today. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I am so excited for this Cowboys team. Tommy Solo, Brandy, y'all are going to be in Oxnard, California. I need y'all to make sure. I need exclusive clips. Please send me exclusive clips daily. Send them to my email. Get your phone out, record. Send me the clips. Talk over the clips. I'll even have you talking over the clips. But send me some exclusive clips as if I was in Oxnard, California. Please. Send me some clips. Yeah, man, penalties. Brandon Cup takes discipline. Yeah. Larry Hunter, stop the field goals, more touchdowns. Yeah, Poopy D, the question. Penalties, man, can they do it? Jerome Miller, he said, how much you need to raise to go to Oxnard, California? Man, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't even have a clue. I really wouldn't even have a clue. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't have a clue. It's probably a little too short notice anyway for me to go. Now, next year, we're going to see what happens. Have to go out there and check out Oxnard, California. Check out the Cowboys next season. Get on that beach. But for the people that's going, please send me clips. Send me all the clips that you can so we can have us some exclusive clips on Let's Talk Cowboys. And maybe next year we could be broadcasting from there. Amen. All right, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me on this Thursday night. We gonna be back on Friday talking more Cowboys with the best chat on YouTube. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's Talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Peace.